Mm.
There we are on Twitch. Actually, on YouTube. It's showing up on the Twitch window. It's just not saying that it has. Okay, there it is. Cool. Okay. Tweet. Discord. And retweet. Stretching out my hands a little bit. Started a whole 2 minutes ahead of time. What is this? I commented on that in the voice call, Debbie. Debbie is very observant about such things. I didn't go to school today. I threw up. Well, you're in makeup school now, where you won't learn anything that you would have learned in school, but you know, whatever. Okay, I think should be good to get started. Keep that there. This can go here. Yeah, that works. I'll put that there. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. So, villager skin, taking advantage of being in the voice call and knowing when I was going live to be able to get first. Congratulations for that prestigious achievement.
Yay!
Hello to Asa and Mr. Anonymous the Goat and Esseren or Iseren and Caddy IG and Josh Bernard and Space Dog 363 and Ane and Smidge and Alchemy and Octocreeth and NA and Devi, of course, and Gons and Walmart CG5 and Raspy and Phydro and Alfonsini and Rogue Flyer and Diamond Star and Minty Misk and Chloe and Primal Ticket and Skellies and Mr. Dale and Valamar and Chaluna, hello, and Booskar TV and Eclipse at Dusk and Tessa. And hello to Korok number 752. Definitely the best Korok out of all of the hundreds of them for sure. For sure. And hello Tote. Or Tot. I guess that is a word in English, isn't it? I don't know which one. And hello Aurora. Welcome everybody to Squid School. I might regret this later, because I I have a lot to do to get myself ready for LTC. I haven't, started packing or anything like that, and it's a lot of logistics I've got to think through here. But LTC is this weekend. I said that already. I had lost my train of thought for a second, then I caught back up and realized I put the cars in the wrong order. So, despite, all of that with LTC, I'm thinking tomorrow of, I've got a dentist appointment, but after the dentist appointment, I'm thinking of sitting down and just trying out a little bit of school. I know there's been some interest on the streams that I've made before with just, talking about stuff that I, actually just know from being a teacher and whatnot. That sometimes people might find that interesting, so I was like, what the heck, let's see if anybody's interested in that. So tomorrow I'm going to be, I think the basic idea here, and this is going to be very improvised and probably a little bit scuffed, which is more fun, I think. But I'm thinking of just going through the settings on my air conditioner to turn it off so that it's not blowing in the middle of the stream. Going through all of English syntax. Just teach all the rules of English. By the end of the stream tomorrow, you should know how to speak the language, except for the vocabulary. So I thought I'd maybe go and do something like that and see if there's any interest there at all. It will not be... I guess I could have Splatoon open while I do that, but it's kind of hard to write words out in ink on the floor of the lobby. So I don't know. Maybe not. Might need to go into a Google Doc or something like that. Anyway, giving me something to tune into during my 5-hour layover. Oh, yeah. Wow, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, Devi. Devi, the lengths that Devi goes to show up to American lands they're really... It's not easy to fly from Canada to a particular place in the U.S. Like, there are a lot of stops. There's a lot of travel time, so... my English final is tomorrow before that? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. That's such unfortunate timing. And you're gonna be sick of it at that point, so... But yeah, so... That's a thing that I'll do, and who knows? Maybe nobody will like it, but maybe people will. I'll get to see if there's a Twitch category that makes sense. Like, is there like an education Twitch category? Like, or would it just go under just chatting? Is that what it would be? Probably just chatting. I'm just gonna look that up right now. Education? Is that... No, that's... Okay, that's the name of a video game. There are 3 viewers watching it currently. 1 each on 3 different streams, actually. And it's a very confusing... Just looking at the thumbnails, none of it makes sense. Okay. So it would probably be just chatting, I would think. Alright. Well, today I learned a thing. Okay. 0% pass rate guarantee. Yeah, you know... Here's what's going to happen on that stream, just realistically speaking. I'm going to start off the stream, right? And it always takes, like, maybe a half hour for people to filter in or something. And during that time, we're going to go over all of the basics that people need to understand what comes later. And so, I feel like it's going to be very funny when people show up later on in the stream and have no idea what I'm talking about, because they've missed all of the basics that we were trying to learn earlier. So, that could happen. Now, what I'll probably do, because there is actually some context that we probably need to go over first. So, like, what usually happens on the streams is that people are in by about 35 minutes in. Like, you're up to about the level that you're going to be at, more or less. By about then, people have found out that you're streaming, they've clicked in, stuff like that. Either that, or that's when the algorithms stop promoting that you're live or whatever, or something gets buried, I don't know. But usually by about then, you've got about as many people as you're going to get. And so at that point, we'll probably be through all the context of what is syntax, and what is formal English, and why are there rules, and do those rules really matter that much, and things like that. And, that, for all I know, might be a tangent that goes on for way longer than I think it will, but maybe we'll get that stuff out of the way first and use that to stall for the... Because that's how this stream is set up, too. Like, this stream is set up so that, the VOD reviews... Well, what used to happen is we jump right into the VOD reviews first thing. And the problem with that is that people would get there and be already, like, halfway through the game by the time, like, they'd ever noticed that I was streaming in the first place. So... there are a lot of things that I have to go over twice, a lot of questions I have to answer a second time. Whereas if we do it this way, where we have the Anarchy open at the beginning of the stream, that it gives everybody time to filter in, and they're not, like, really missing that much yet. So that's why it's designed the way that it is, and I figure that sort of an idea will probably help for this kind of thing. So. Are you going to eat soup while teaching? I mean, I might have to for the fans. I don't know. It'll be, I don't know. It might be too close to dinner time. Like, soup is usually something I go to for lunch because it's just like really quick and easy, and lunch is like right in the middle of the day and annoying because it interrupts everything I'm doing. But dinner I usually like to be a bigger meal because soup, just a can of soup isn't enough for dinner. It's really not enough for lunch either. I have to snack a lot to around the edges of that, but we'll try to figure it out for the fans. Can you find a can you do me a favor and randomly fit clamoring cats into sentences at LTC? What do you mean it's sentences at LTC? I'm not casting at LTC. Probably could have if I'd put my name in at some point, but I never got around to doing that, and I don't especially mind. It's fun casting, but also less that my teammates have to plan around, and it sounds like we're going to have a pretty busy schedule just hanging out with people and whatnot in the meantime, so I don't mind missing out on it this time around. Have you tried the Campbell's Chunky Soup? I never did. I've tried Campbell's Soup, just not Campbell's Chunky Soup. I just... The baseline Campbell's Soup feels definitely a lot, like, lower quality than the baseline Progresso stuff. So that's my only point of reference there. Want to see how American English works? Yeah. For all I know, it might be more more interesting to people than this Splatoon stuff because it's a more universal topic, you know. Granted, my audience is generally Splatoon players, but also there's a lot of people who speak English, as it turns out. So I'll be casting with Cactu, who's going to do a Kermit the Frog impression for the entire. If they do it for the entire cast, they're a legend, absolute legend. What is the scientific name for cats? I don't know, and I don't care. Okay, let's get a lobby going here for Anarchy Open. That is an Xbox controller that I just picked up. That's not correct. So Villager Skin, I'm going to create a pool. And then I will message you the name of that pool. I have not created a slideshow that will make an effective pool guard. The only pool guard I have currently is our buddy Dash here in kitten form. So that's how it's going to be there. So 1 second while I get that typed in. Okay. So now we will return to dog programming. Okay, I'm going to DM you both of those pieces of information. So there's that, and Devi, you are welcome to join. I think I saw Jamie in there as well. Yeah, you are welcome to join as well. Drop down into Discord here. See if, okay, we don't have them yet. Okay, Jamie is in a salmon run match. Devi, whenever you're available, feel free to hop in. I'm sure you're probably setting up.
Hello.
Hi, Jamie.
I'm finishing up the salmon really quick.
Sounds good. Okay. Devi is getting through the Switch update. And Villager, let me know once you're in the pool, and I'll send out an invite.
Oh, I'm in the pool.
Okay. So I just sent out a notification. Hopefully that'll show up now. clams, wahoo, and mincemeat. Woo! Yay!
Yippee!
We're playing clams, wahoo, and mincemeat. Yippee!
I'm playing with another Jamie.
Oh, I didn't catch the pun. I spelled it wrong.
Pun? What pun? There's no pun. 0 puns allowed.
All serious.
Seeing the crab in the holographic form is so funny.
There we go, try that.
What does it look like?
You're just sitting there on the back of the crab, like as if it zoomed in for like a profile picture, and you just have the biggest grin on your face.
That's cute. I like that.
If you could resend the invite.
Sure thing. Actually, that's impossible. I cannot
Oh,
do that.
it is?
You'll have to.
why?
What you have to do is literally exit the lobby, go back into the square,
Oh.
and come back in.
Well, my bad.
Alright. Good luck. So, I'm not trying to slander clamblets, but I will say that mincemeat clamblets is the worst mincemeat.
Yep.
So, they're all terrible in their own unique ways, but clamblets is especially bad.
I mean,
Um,
at least 2 of them are like comp viable, but it's still annoying.
I want to say Mincemeat is probably the worst Clamblitz map that has ever been in a Splatoon game. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I dislike more than it.
Are you talking about if it's fast or just really stalled out? Because
what do you mean?
The other one I hated the most.
Those are not
Walleye
two
as
two problems with the game mode.
No, but still, just for like a clams map in general, I hated Walleye.
Clams is like for Mincemeat, it's just nobody can score for like at all.
Walleye at least has a flank route, right? Like on Mincemeat, you stand in the same place and you can cover both routes. You can't do that on Walleye. I mean, you can't do that on Mincemeat, sorry. Or, no, yeah, Walleye I was right the first time, sorry. I'm being confused.
Right,
Like,
on my way.
on Walleye, if you were flanking, they had to watch sneaky. And that meant that they couldn't watch, say, closed. And granted, you could put multiple players in place to watch those, and it was still a stall fest. But on Mincemeat, like, literally the same player can stop both. And I think Walleye's mid actually works. Like, you never end up playing from there, because the team just gets an advantage once, and then, like, it's either one team's at advantage or the other is, and you don't get to play that neutral again, but at least mid was fun. Mincemeat mid is just one choke point, and a flank route that doesn't work over the top. Any luck there, villager?
I am trying to figure it out. I'm struggling a little.
So you're going to the envelope and looking for my name?
Your name isn't showing up.
Let me remake the room and try sending the message again.
Okay.
Also, double check your spelling. Like, compare it really closely to what I put down there.
Yeah.
Oh, good, the dogs are still up.
Chucky.
Baby Chucky.
Look at a little potato.
He's a big couch potato now.
Alright.
I've been invited to a room.
Recruitment notice sent. Did you get a notification of that, villager? That like an invite? There it is. Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Actually, if we're gonna have double back, I'm going
Hang
to
on.
switch up here.
We're fine, we're fine, we're fine.
No, we're all good.
I don't remember what I had on. Oh, that's what I had on.
Villager, can I ask your pronouns?
He, him.
There we go. And then Jamie and I are he, him, Debbie's she, her. Okay, we'll get rid of the dogs, fine. Be that way. Can't believe we got people who are puppy dislikers in the chat now.
No, how could you just like these?
Microwave Fanfic asks, what's everyone's dream map mode rotation? I don't know. There are definitely a number of good ones. But I guess if it's a rotation, then it has to be two in the same mode. So I guess that makes it a little more challenging.
Oh, double charger. Cool.
A good question.
Because I guess part of that question is tinted by what weapons we play.
Yeah, I think mine would be...
Or if we're talking about tournament play, that's different.
If we're talking about rotations for like solo and stuff, then mine would have to be clams, brine water, and wahoo. Oh,
We covered the same side, that's my bad.
It's all good.
I thought you were going forward, so that's why I went back a bit. Jamie, I threw one to Gem. I'm gonna go
Okay.
pressure this guy.
Well, I'm being vaxxed, so I'm not sure that's getting
Oh.
anywhere.
I did trade. Oh, they scored.
They broke ours. Oh, okay.
All good.
Got one. Got the charger. One of the chargers.
Junior's still behind. No elbow.
I got the
Oops.
knot.
I didn't mean to throw
Score.
that, but okay.
That's fine, I can score it!
That jump's probably getting sniped. Or not.
Good. Oh, that's self jump.
I'm up in the base.
Does anybody have clams? We don't have
No.
clams. Yeah, I can't get into score in time. I'm gonna
Okay,
back up and try and
build a
defend.
clam. I'm gonna stall here, because they can't get me from here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are they pushing in our basket?
not
There you go.
anymore.
I'm gonna sit back and hang up base a bit.
Oh, I had a knot in a charger, look at me.
Whee!
Nice.
This is so silly. Why am I doing this?
Our left?
Not down.
Okay.
None of that should have worked, and I
I'm
probably should have
not-
gotten at least 2 picks out of that, but you know what?
Oh, one.
We're winning.
Somebody did it?
That jump might be seen.
It was,
Oh,
but
no.
they missed.
Okay, well, I have 3. I'm by their basket.
I'm getting vacked and shot at, and I'm still alive. Okay, well,
I missed the knot.
Oh, I got collided. Oh, wait, they're charging
They're
basket.
scoring. They're scoring. Charger behind bubble.
Let's see him.
Plat is
One
clear.
by our elbow on me.
I see one.
I can't splat him for some reason. Villager, watch out!
Got one.
Okay, I got that guy.
I got the one on elbow, I think.
Steps.
Unjumpable.
Oh,
What?
I'm jumpable. I'm jumpable.
We're
Villager,
I don't
you
have
can
it.
jump to me
Villager,
with the
jump.
clam.
I jumped to the wrong person.
it's all good. It's all good.
Okay, there we go.
Here, Gem. I threw you a clam
It's
too.
gonna be a little bit hotter now, but I dropped some clams at basket.
Oh, I got sniped. I
Same.
cannot hit
Just you,
Derek's
Villager?
right now.
Back up, back up, back
It's all
up.
good.
I'm
Ah.
down.
It's all good. Good attempt. Okay, they're gonna be on our plat.
Probably
so
gonna go
careful.
left.
Yeah, there's one with a bubble there.
I'm gonna try and go around. Let me pressure the vacuum.
Got charger.
There's one coming behind me. Going our elbow. Okay, thank you.
Got the
there
other
we go.
power.
I'm going up. I'm gonna go up their elbow.
Good shots. Okay, I'm in mid right now. Gem is the furthest forward.
I'm gonna score.
Get that up.
Traded. And that'll go in. Nice.
There we go. We're good.
Stretch. Hi there, Cryley. Thank you.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
That was definitely a first game of the day on my end. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but
I mean, I missed a bunch of directs, but I still popped off, I guess. I did what I was supposed to.
First game of the day on shooters. I've been playing Splatling practically all day, so.
you've been doing like a tournament or a practice or something?
Just solo queue stuff.
Gotcha. Scorch Gorge Zones. Yeah, Scorch Gorge Zones is probably the single worst map mode in the entire game. That's probably my choice for it. I think it is ridiculous that there is only one way out of mid. That just should not be the way that a map is designed. One very small way that is a great bridge. You know, unpaintable. Wow, that actually missed the target. Trizuka's silly sometimes.
I have a soft spot for Scorch, even though I know that's like bad.
Because you know how to play a ranged weapon on it?
Yeah.
I will give Scorch, Rainmaker, and Clam Blitz. I think those are legitimately viable competitive modes. But Zones is just not it.
What if they brought back Moray?
Rather than not.
I think that the Zipcaster would be a lot of fun on Moray. Specifically Zipcaster.
Yeah. And the E-Leaders would enjoy themselves.
Try got me. I couldn't get out the second slosh. Bottom right.
To be clear,
I'm
the
good
E-Leaders...
left,
Oh my god.
left.
Oh,
I got
thank
one,
you.
there's another one here. There we
Got
go,
him.
traded it. To be clear, the E-Leaders liking a map is generally not a good sign for the map. Typically, when the E-Leader likes the map, it's not a great map, competitively speaking.
I thought it could be sneaky. Oh well.
No.
Good job. Everyone look right.
I'm trying to help Gem here.
So that's what I was talking about.
Okay, got him. Try dropped on right.
Good try.
Snaps on me!
Zuking.
I hit him once.
Going for score.
Traded.
We're in. I'm down.
Got one.
Nice.
Tries
nice.
on me on the left.
I'm down to try.
I'm down the bomb.
Alright, just get out of there if you can.
I'm just stalling.
Yeah.
No, the burst bomb! No!
I thought they nerfed it.
No, I backed up. Like, I was trying to back up. Like, I was kiting a zap for one of the shooters, and then the splash was on the other side. Burst bomb in my face.
Treated.
Up the wall. Nice.
I got it.
Roll right flat, left flat. Oh, they're trying to score in behind us.
Oh no.
Picking up this area.
Good. I'm gonna go try and help Jerry here.
Got one. Another one on me. We got him.
Cool.
Zuking onto plat.
I hit somebody there.
Yeah, they got me. Nice.
Well, you got him back.
Somebody did heavy.
One more up
Okay,
there now.
well, we need clams. Oh, try beats me! Ugh! They're here!
I had to back up for a moment,
Oh.
but he got out.
I landed on a tri-strike.
Got one. F5.
Two on the left. Upper left.
Got
Oh.
one.
Nice.
One in mid. I
Got him.
got him.
Nice. Jamie,
That's two down.
who has the most clams?
I have 5.
Someone's got 6.
I have 6.
Okay.
Try is me.
Crab.
Captain, there you go.
I had no paint.
Oops.
I have 7.
I also have 7.
Got 2.
Got try.
That's 3
I'm
down.
down.
Last one's on their plat.
I got you.
Thank you.
There. I have 7.
I'm gonna go get clams. Oh, they all despawned!
Ah, shoot, I'm dead. 2 left flat. Right flat.
Oh, I ran out of ink. Shoot.
There's one in our base.
That was very winnable.
Oh no.
Traded. It's all good.
There's someone behind me. And Zap's below me.
They have crab boat ready.
It's like 3 on the left.
There's a bunch of clams in mid right now. I have 6.
Got one.
Oh, I'm getting jumped on.
Sushi down.
They
crab
crabs?
is up. There you go.
Check.
Oh, they directed me.
Yeah, I'm down to bomb.
Nice.
Okay,
Backing
got the
up.
jet.
Got one. Right
Got
shot.
one.
Got one.
3 down.
There you go.
I have 7.
Oh, so 7.
2 on the top right. I'm 1 shot.
I'm with you, I'm with you.
Tries pushing me
Try
mid.
slash.
Try dropped left there.
Got him.
Oh,
Just throw the
that was
ball.
not supposed to be there. Landed up there. Shoot.
There you go.
I blew you out their face.
That one also felt like a first game of the day for me, so...
That one felt like a first game for me. It's weird because I don't know how to play Mincemeat on the ground without range. Without much range.
I just go into old junior mode, throw bombs as much as I can.
I figure the trick is just knowing where they are, because if you know where they are, then you can zone them out and like hit them from over the ledge while they can't hit you. But as soon as there's someone whose position you don't know, they just drop down on you and they get to jump on you.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it's a tri-slosher. Like, for that one, I was struggling at the start with the tri-slosher because they get their sloshes out faster than me. So I'm like, Yo, it's Cactu the Frog, my com partner.
Give me your opinion on what machine should be doing, like, positioning. Machine is a zoning tool. You put it at a choke point that the other team needs to get through, and it just clogs it up like crazy. Makes it completely impossible for someone to walk through without overwhelming force. You also can put it in places where it can use its ability to hit up over ledges, like on Brine Water, for example. It's the machine on your team that's going to be sloshing up over the right-hand side of the enemy's ramp from ground level to harass backliners and stuff that are trying to set up there. Backliners or crabs or whatever. Cactus says, I heard Doovie. Hi, Doovie!
That is a bunch of buckets.
One bottom right. Got him. Another one. Got him.
There you go.
I'm down to Explo.
Got you. There you
Just
go.
Explo.
It's on
Left.
the left. I can't get it.
Careful, villager.
You can move up a little bit, Jamie. It's just that expo there.
No, it's a slosh.
Oh. Yeah, it was just the one, so.
Yeah.
Watch mid.
See him?
Oh, I'm down the bucket. Or machine.
Traded with the machine. They're scoring.
On my
They
way.
missed.
They missed.
I got the pro.
Got the bucket.
Nice.
Just
Expo's on their
Expo.
right. Oh, they're in pit, but they're jumping in on the right. I'm gonna die. I've got a bunch
On
of
my
bucket
way.
slashes
I
going
tried to
at
go
me.
there.
I'm dead. Flank right. Machine. They might be going back around, but they went that way.
Yeah, V slosh.
There's one jumping their court. I think I get it. Nope. I missed it. My bad. They had drop roller too. No, they didn't. They just moved zoomy.
There's one behind me. Slosher flank.
Got machine.
Slosher dropped right. Got him.
Nice.
Okay, they're two down. We can pressure.
Uh-oh.
Got pro.
Explo's on
backing
left.
up. I hit him once. They're
He's
going
actually
right.
dead.
They're going right. They're going right.
Yeah,
I hit him
Jamie's
again.
DCing.
Oh no.
Slosher down. Explo down.
Well,
Pro down.
I gotta come there too.
That was confusing. It's 2v3
What
now.
is happening? Okay.
I was splatted by the very first cat.
Okay, so it gave me a comm out of the game, and then it gave me a comm while I was in the square. Thanks, game.
Nice.
First DC of the day.
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't usually DC, so there's an issue.
I'm gonna score.
He slash is weak.
Yeah, and so am I.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all good.
They're gonna be coming from carousel.
Oh. God dang it, dude. I'm
Got expo.
Got the power clam holder. One more here. Got him. Twice. Nice shot. Crab on right.
I'm done the crab.
Yep. Ah, the bridge is over.
I'm going right.
Probably gonna make it.
They're going right.
Oh, they're going right. Why did they go right? They had the bridge.
Got one.
Nice shot. Are they gonna try and go elbow with it?
Are they going around?
I guess so.
No?
Expo weak. Ah, rats.
Oh,
I hit him. Got him.
nice, nice, nice.
Last one's here. Got him.
Yay.
Got 2.
Ooh.
Last one left, I think. Oh no, they're on right. They're on right.
Oh.
Oh, that's super shot.
I hit him twice. They're right behind the pillow. I'm just gonna jump in. Oh, that's not a safe jump. Okay.
Oh, hi, sir. Hi. Leave me alone.
Okay, they didn't have a power clamp.
I guess we still win that. 2v3. Yay.
Good job.
I have a little bit of a timeout situation, so 5 minutes. Yeah.
Follow-up question for Machine, is it best to play around your teammates? I mean, the answer to that is always yes, whatever weapon you're playing. Like, even if you're flanking, which is not really the job of the Machine most of the time, but it is possible. Even if you're flanking, you're playing around when your teammates push from a different direction. If you go in by yourself, that you're just always at a disadvantage. We're going to hit stop to let everybody else get back in. But the sloshing machine is generally leans more towards the skirmisher playstyle. It's not as good at slaying because it has really slow DPS. Like, it has a lot of different ways that it can splat you, but those ways aren't super quick. So the way you beat a machine is by somehow figuring out a way to get on top of it. And I say somehow because that's the hard part. But if you do manage to do that, say, roll at it with tetradulies, and you're just in range before it's hit you, you're going to be able to splat it quicker than it can splat you. So what the sloshing machine does is it threatens to, it threatens the space that people are trying to exist in, and zones them out. It's like a zoner in a fighting game, or, you're poking someone away rather than going all in to try and get the picks by yourself. You can absolutely get the pick if, like, they get damaged by something and you just need to chuck a little bit more damage in their direction. But the most important thing for you to be doing is making it so your opponents cannot do the thing that they are trying to do. That's what skirmishing really is. It's engaging the enemy player without necessarily committing to a fight that will result in someone being splatted. Playing keep away. Tips for Nautilus. Nautilus is a Slayer weapon. It's heavily paint dependent, but using the unique mobility options that the weapon has lets you find fairly long-range sight lines from which to just absolutely delete someone. Your ability to charge hold is really important. You should basically just, like, always have charge, because you can fire and then start recharging like a ballpoint does in the middle of your charge. Like, you don't have to exhaust it all before you fire it again. And you can also swim with the charge. So you can charge a little bit and then swim and then fire and then swim and then fire and then swim and then charge up again and then fire some more. Like, all sorts of wacky combinations like that, to where you're basically just always going to have at least a little bit of charge when you're playing that weapon. And then just learn how to aim it, and people are going to get splatted.
Yeah. 1 minute.
Somebody asks, Devi, is your team on Sendu? Yeah, the grillers should be there. They've been there for years, I think. Right?
I think I made one on there, but it's not updated, just because not everybody has profiles, or let alone updates it in general. So I think it's on there, but it's not accurate.
I'm gonna go get a drink of water. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna look, actually.
Okay.
Oh, well, what do you know? It's not. I didn't actually remake it when the S3 one came out. Let me just...
Alright, well, ready for the match when you are, Devi?
Yep, I'm holding the button. Just give it a second.
It's the best weapon to pair with Splat and Tetradualies. Something that paints a lot helps with those, because if they're going to be diving, that means you need somebody on your team who's going to focus on painting. So they actually go pretty well with stuff like Flingza and Reflux. So you have some kind of backline back there. I don't remember what else people put in there. Probably just like a machine to cover whatever is needed at that moment.
Careful, they're by
got you.
basket.
I'm gonna go back. Gem scores here.
I should be able to.
Oh,
Down.
cool.
Brush is got me from under basket. We're gonna need that
I'm dead.
booyah quick.
That's good.
Someone's behind flanking.
I'm down. They have a clam.
Yeah, they're going in.
It's gonna back up now.
Nice shot, Gun.
Thank you.
That's good.
Nice.
Underneath
Oh,
it.
Squift's on me. I need help. Help, please. I'm stuck
That's
by
good.
2.
I'm down to brush thing. I just barely have reached to save it, Devi. Like,
Yeah.
Swift.
It was the sploosh that actually came in and got
Oh,
me.
the sploosh.
I did draw. Oh, okay.
Flank, sploosh and brush. Sploosh and brush. One more. I got one. Sploosh. With hammer. Or whatever it has.
Yeah,
Does
score.
that have hammer? Yes, it does. They're still there on the left. They're behind Gem. They might have dropped in the carousel, but they were just behind you.
Pushed into mid. I have a Zuka. I'm just looking for a good shot.
Okay.
Keep getting toxic misted.
Oh, flank again by the sploosh. I got
What?
1. I got 2.
There was one on
Got 3
left.
down.
Brush on bottom left. Hit him once. Hit him twice. I'm down. They're in
Oh,
court
I
now.
see him.
They're court. Nice. I'm gonna look
Good.
for an opportunity to jump pity, I think.
We're here. I just need booyahs! That was the slowest booyah build I've ever done.
Yeah, I was in the middle of pressing my jump inputs, so I couldn't booyah for it.
I was in the middle of running away from
Brush
something.
is here on the middle.
Move on right.
Another one left carousel. Or they might be up top.
That's
Brush
good.
is right carousel. They back up
Camera is
carousel.
out. Done.
Mini down. Brush dropped on me from their plat in their left carousel now.
Hit him twice. He's weak.
They're up on top now.
Look. Done.
Nice.
There's someone on the right. Blooch.
Oh, fuck.
I have no ink.
Done this boost. It was all good.
No,
I messed
no!
up.
I don't have any ink! I hop away, sadly. I know I'm up here. I can't be here. Watch out, Jamie. There's a Swiffer watching until we have...
Yep.
I'm gonna booyah the right. Actually, never mind. There's people right below us here. Got him.
Someone got me bottom right. Brush or glass.
see him.
Coming left, plat now.
Squift got me because I
bridge.
turned around to chase it.
Nice shot.
Shots.
I got sniped by the
Dead.
squiff. They were in bubble. Nice.
That's the last guy.
Hey, I'm
stop.
going to basket. You go to the right, I got left.
Okay.
I can hold better on the left.
Okay, I'm
Come
gonna
above
come help
me.
Jamie.
Got sploosh.
Mini
Brush
above
shots.
me. And he went in the rail. I'm at
Got
basket.
flush. I'm down.
I'm
Doing-
jumpable. I'm jumpable.
I'm on
Jump,
my way.
jump.
Jumping.
Nice.
In the corner, in the corner, in the corner on me!
Yeah, I can't get there. Traded mini.
Why did I jump there? That was dumb.
One coming right.
Yeah, there's already 2 here.
It's
Okay, they're gonna go over
Last
plat.
time.
They have specials. One going right.
Watching right.
I can't swim.
Got one right. Got 2 right. Good
What
stop, just
shots?
mini.
Me dead.
I said no to bubble. Oh!
They're going across right
They're going
carousel.
right. They're running right.
Oh gosh, I missed. Okay.
Nah,
that's
they didn't have time.
Debbie, I wish you'd seen it. At the start of the match, you were just like, it looked weird. It looked like you, it looked like you were just trying to play Hydra on my screen because like, I wish I could.
I
wish
have
could-
run speed on this build. I use it to be stealthy for openings.
No, okay, but you went through the glass on left carousel for me.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was running around underneath the carousel for the first bit, and then I sat in squid form on top of the foil on the rotating thingy for probably about 15 seconds before I had a clear shot in the squiffer. I was just sitting there as a squid, plain as day, just because they didn't see where I went. Because my escape route was climbing up the wall, right? So I went up the wall. The brush actually went through that arc and was painting around to try to like splat me. The squiffer even shot there, and then they gave up. And then I had a clear shot on the squiffer, and then I got collapsed on afterwards when I had to move.
I also realized that there won't be Silly Comp Sunday this weekend. That was kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, they're... I wonder what the people will have to watch.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's just
not
that
like there's a tournament or anything going on.
Yeah, like, what-
What?
what's going to entertain the people while Low Tide City 2023 is happening in Austin, Texas?
Better Call Saul. The show.
Serious Comp
Yeah.
Sunday.
Silly Comp Sunday.
For real.
Double ball points.
Yeah.
Sniper down.
Okay, I'm
Oh
dead.
no.
Blaster. Blaster right.
Yeah.
Oh, this is definitely a comp that's built for mincemeat, I will say that.
Oh, there's another.
Mhm.
Oh. I'm gonna do a stamper.
Oh!
Underneath basket.
Ow. I got injured.
Yeah, oh shoot, I thought they had to drop for that. They're still underneath basket. Stamper. Gonna have help soon.
And ballpoint.
Got one. Oh, hi, Stamper.
Traded.
I'm down.
It looks like that should be it.
Nope, blaster's still in front of us.
Well, yeah, Blaster's on right, but they can't score
Blaster
anymore,
left.
is my point.
Okay.
Careful left, to your left.
Zuking? How did that miss that? Shoot. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna booyah our side here. I missed.
We're one down on left.
Yep, there's 2 left. Careful.
Blaster right truck.
I would love to be able to hit directs.
Stamper on plat, stamper on plat. Got him. I'm down.
2 on the right. 3 on the right.
Wave breaking.
Oh, I directed
Careful,
that
Debbie.
blaster.
Careful,
I
Debbie,
directed both of them. Oh, that's sad. I had that though.
3 on left.
traded.
Still on plat. Okay. Just ballpoint, paint up, and get into mid.
Right side.
Stamper got me mid.
Down.
Nice. Ballpoint around left side. Nice. Good shots.
I hit 2 underneath, behind their snipe point here.
I'm pressuring right.
Blaster and ballpoint are on me. They got me around the corner.
Traded. Two. They're mostly around plat. Let's get some paint control, get specials, and get clams ready.
I have 7.
Got one.
Thank you.
I'm down.
Things that got me. There you go. 2 down.
Blaster on right
So
still
he's
with me.
Yeah.
Burning
They're
truck.
both here. They're both
Got
here.
Blaster, Stamper weak. Trade Stamper. Just ballpoint.
Blaster.
Okay.
Stamper looking me left.
On my way.
Oh!
Stamper bottom left. Stamper down.
There you go.
Blaster on their plat.
Weak.
Good trade. I'm down to
7.
ballpoint there. Ballpoint's just walking
I'm in
forward
trouble.
left.
I'm gonna be in trouble.
Did you?
I-
Oh shoot.
I'm down.
Blaster dead. Traded. Careful right.
Yep, there's a
We're getting
Stamper
over
on
right.
the left. Stamper's on the left.
Got the ballpoint. I'm down. I'm
They're
getting
just putting under basket. They're under basket.
I'm getting
Under
connections
basket.
unstable. There, I'm back. I don't think they can walk forward with that. It's just the ballpoints.
Timber on left.
The Blaster's here.
Push in on left. Nice.
Blaster or Stamper.
Blaster's bottom right.
And booyah.
I have try.
Got Blaster. Ballpoint
Maybe.
and Stamper watching me on right.
I
I
got
pushed too
booyah.
fast. We need a power clam in 15 seconds.
We have one.
Oh, okay, we got pity.
Careful jump to your left.
I see him. Oh, there's 2.
Oh, RNG failed of aim.
Oh gosh.
Blaster is weak or was weak.
They got me.
There's a ballpoint up here.
What are your opinions on someone enjoying playing off meta weapons? So it depends on your goals. Like, if your goal is to win majors, then like when you pick an off meta weapon, you need to be thinking from the perspective of what is this giving me that a meta option is not? Like, what strength of this thing offsets its weaknesses? Like, why does this fit into our comp well? What is it that we need to do here, and why is this the best choice for the job? Because if your only goal is to win, then if you're gonna one-trick something, you want to one-trick something that's really strong and is gonna work in a variety of different situations. Because having to go back and forth between a whole bunch of different tools means you're going to be worse on all of them. That's one of the big reasons that people gravitate toward weapons that work pretty well in a lot of different places, rather than things that are going to be very specifically good, but only in certain situations. If you're playing just, like, ranked, non-competitive... I don't care what weapon you play. Like, you shouldn't care what weapon you play. Just do whatever it is you want to do. It's when your goal becomes winning that you want to start, you know, weighing the value of different options on the basis of how valuable they are in competitive play. Watch out, one top left.
Got one down.
I'll get this.
Muted.
I'm being pushed on left.
The squeezer in the left
They
corner.
jump.
They jump.
Taking their truck. Okay, I'm threatening this.
I got one.
Good pressure, Debbie. There's another one coming to you. I'm being pushed out by the squeezer.
Luna directed me. We're 3 down.
Right truck.
Got the squeezer. I'm down to the dualies. Their left truck.
Yep. Luna's right underneath goal here.
Oh.
Okay.
They came across right.
Jumping out.
Doolies, I got one.
Underneath the basket now.
Yeah, I see it. Ah, blaster got me.
I can't hit it. No.
Yeah, let's just get some bombs down there. There's a lot underneath the ledge. Don't peek out too carelessly. Got one with the bomb. Pushing in. Okay, one drop through. Another one down. Two, both left. Cut him off on left.
I'm the only
Pushing by right truck now.
Last one's on me. Got him.
2 on my
That's
back
3.
on right here.
Yeah, last
I'm
one's
fighting
on right.
the 4th one.
On my way.
I don't have any ink.
They jumped.
Above us. I directed it once.
Lily got me.
Got one.
You.
Got
Squeezer
two.
dropped.
Behind this block.
Yep.
I don't know if they moved.
They must have squid rolled
that's
backwards. Yeah, there.
Okay. They ledge glitched then. 'Cause they definitely dropped on my screen. Oh, there's one.
Blaster down.
Yeah, 6.
One on me. Hit him twice. I'm down.
Right into the squeezer.
Got one. There's another one on me. Doolies.
Back up
and
if you-
blaster.
okay.
There's 2 there. I can't.
Debbie, you and I need to hold hands so that we can get through on the right there. Dooley's down. I'm gonna push through mid. Push over right, Debbie. Ah, my bad.
well.
They just turned on me.
Got 2. One that's still behind. There you go. The squeezer.
Nice, just squeezer.
I found him. I traded.
Nah, I tried. There's still one on plat, 2 on plat now. Squeezer and T-Tech. I'm gonna collect clams on my way over. Nice.
Oh, one.
I'm on the right. Doolies.
On my way. There's one above us. Be careful.
I got
Nice.
the doolies.
Push on a little bit left. Or right, sorry.
Beautiful. I need, and actually now, we'll get the other one in.
Scored. But the squeezer's still on left.
Okay, there's lead. One dropped right, be careful. We're
Yeah,
outnumbered
no,
there.
I'm just owning it. Oh, there's one above my head.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got dualies.
I'm here now, we can take fights if we want.
I poked one.
There's one above me. Zuka's weak. There's a jump to
It
him.
was 1, still 1 right truck.
Jump is weak.
2 right truck.
I'm out of ink. Thank you.
Still one there.
Pushing in.
Oh, shit.
Got him.
There's one.
Thank you.
I'm being shot by Squeezer on the left.
Okay, they backed up.
Okay,
Blaster's on right. I'm gonna see if I can get an angle to zook the Squeezer. Actually, 2 here. Okay, that's 2 down.
They keep clam economy.
I have 7.
Ouch. I didn't need to jump across. I don't know why I did that. 3 on their plat now. 1 drop left. Nice. Good fights.
They got me on their flat. Good job.
That's.
Here you go, Debbie.
Thanks.
Nice.
Hello.
Updated callouts list for the new maps. Yes. The original callouts list just got updated with them. So if you had the old one, you should have access. But there it is. All right. Let's do one more just for the heck of it.
You're like 3 points till rank up.
You know, no reason, just figure we got a little bit of a late start, you know, so
Why?
like how you're live on YouTube and Twitch. Yeah, it's a program called Restream. I think there are others that people have recommended. This one has given me a little bit of trouble before, but it's worked as well as I've needed it to for the most part. Do not do this if you are affiliated on Twitch, though. That violates your affiliate agreement.
Bo's looking at me. I got the roller.
Nice. I'm moving in on right.
Okay,
They're mostly
right.
left. Got one.
I pressured the bow back. There's 2 here.
I see him.
One.
I'm gonna get in
Careful,
position for
Thank you.
Azuka.
Just the bow is back on the
Actually, I
left.
don't need Azuka. I can just rush them. Maybe I
Don't
can't.
let me.
Yeah.
Okay, I have 7.
I'm gonna leave that clam. Got one with Zook.
Oh, got one. What's on left?
Traded.
Got
One on
bow.
left jumps. The left is
One.
pretty clear. We might be able to get over.
There's a Carvin over there.
That's the only one.
Yeah, I don't know which way they
They're
went.
gonna be right
but I
around
just
the
saw
corner.
them. I will need 1 clam though.
Oh, they were still there. What? I thought we checked it. Shoot.
I got
Okay,
one.
nice.
Jamie, how many do you need? There's one in front of you.
Yeah, I see. There you
Here,
go.
take my
There's one
clams.
over right.
Hey, Carbon. I am a little weak though.
I missed the jump.
I thought it was healed up at that point.
Okay, well, I'll grab the clam. I'm gonna.
I'm on their plat.
Under it. Okay.
I have to back up. They whaled me.
Okay, I traded with one. Bo is the one that got me.
One dropped right. Got them.
Okay, I'm gonna jump to the right side here.
Yeah.
Got Zook ready. One on plat. On plat. Got
There
him.
you go.
I got the
I'm
bow.
gonna go for the clam.
Here, I got it. Oh, the bomb just.
Got it.
Yeah, you had 6, so I wanted you to keep yours. I had none.
I guess I can just do this.
Oh boy, that's a lot.
They're at our goal.
One dropping right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
Shoot.
I have no ink. I have no ink.
They're
No
right
ink
left.
moment. No.
Got him.
Okay, good stop. Where's the carbon?
Should be behind you somewhere.
He's on me. He's on me.
Okay,
Got him.
nice. I'm across on plat. I'm just gonna try and go all the way in.
There's.
right.
That's a bow watching me.
One.
I'm probably dead.
Oh, one. I have 3.
They picked up pity.
I also only have 3.
Carbon on me.
Carbon on it. Carbon on it.
Not for
There
long.
you go.
Nice.
Watch to your right, Jamie.
Thank you.
Grabbing clams.
Bo got me.
I have
We're one
5.
down.
Someone's on the right.
Yeah, careful.
Nice shot.
Bro.
I got it.
There you go.
I got
Okay, I've got
another
6.
one. They do have
7.
crab.
Oh no, I only have 6.
Oh.
Here, Jen.
Sure. Carbon weak. Got him.
I traded. Bow up top right and the other one top left. I dropped a bunch of clams, by the way.
Try to get them, but go tap shot.
Okay. I'm gonna gather more.
Traded carbon. Bow on my ouch.
Oh, I can't aim. I traded anyway. Okay.
What
I
am I
have
doing?
stealth. I have stealth.
Yeah.
Nice.
Carmen's weak.
Several on top left. Oh, they're just running across the. Yeah,
Got 'em.
that's not gonna work. I got connections unstable
Carbon's on the
again.
left.
Woo!
Oh no.
Is it the game? It feels like the game at this point.
This has been happening to me
4 down.
fairly consistently. Carbon's weak. Got him. Julie's weak. Nice.
Plans behind you, Debbie.
One dropped left. Forge Pro, sharking left, and the elbow now. Dropped down.
Traded.
Left truck. Forge.
Yep. He's on ya.
I got the bow.
Got him.
Nice.
I'm in their base. Don't mind me. I'm just here.
Carbon down.
Trying to score.
Someone's going left.
Just splat. Doolies.
No! I didn't get my quad! Do we have a clam?
Got it. Oh.
There we go.
I didn't see one. This.
All right.
I was just kind of in their base, like, what do I do here? I'm gonna go stand up here so I have space and wait for them to spawn in.
I just used the pity because it's like, why not knock it out?
Yeah, that's been a problem with my internet particularly. Like the stream went down for a few seconds there. But it's never been bad enough that it has like killed the stream or gotten me out of the game, so I haven't been worrying about it that much.
I got 21. Oops.
All right, we're good now.
How many did I get? 18.
They're carbon DC'd right at the end. Like literally at game over.
Race quit.
Okay, I am grabbing the replay code.
Alright, well I'm gonna go continue making sure I have everything ready. If you need me, ping me.
Sure thing. Thanks, Debbie.
Bye guys.
Bye. All right. There's a stretch. What's your answer to FLC's why wouldn't quad ballpoint work? I don't know that there is one. I think it does. It's not the easiest thing to push with, but you have Inkjet, which is a pushing special, and when like ballpoint short range mode can definitely follow up on something like that, especially if you launch like 2 of them at once. I don't know, I feel like it just works. Anyway, so this, I imagine this has to be solo queue. Are you there, Villager?
Yeah, I am. And
Okay,
this
cool.
is solo.
Okay, awesome. So we're looking at a match against Kyo. So that changes the win condition a little bit because you have a player on the other side who is very mechanically strong
Just
and
a little.
is, you know, it's going to be, you kind of have to weigh your numbers advantages differently. Like, if you end up in, say, a 2v1 situation, most of the time the goal there is pressure that and try to win it. If you're playing against one of the best players to ever play in North America, then maybe the idea is play it kind of safe. Now, it's not going to be your job exactly to be pushing those kinds of advantages, and you're really going to have a difficult time as a team doing that because you ended up on the team with double charger. I guess, oh man, you did not get given a great comp for beating this. Machine is one of the better weapons in the game at harassing chargers and making it difficult for them to exist, and there's also a blaster, so there's that too. And then Splatana Stamper is possibly the best weapon in the game at making chargers not be able to do things. So this is a challenging comp to have to play into already. You do have a couple of pushing weapons at least, which is nice. They're going to be running in and feeding a lot, so what you're kind of hoping to do is just set yourself up in a place where you can see where they're going and maybe get a pick on someone that they're displacing or something, because there's not a lot of follow-up on them going in and fighting someone here. They're aggressive, frontline feed with QR weapons, or QR and or tacticooler. And so they're going to be taking fights very quickly, and that doesn't play super well into our playstyle as an E-leader because we want to be able to set up and take fights, cautiously, one at a time. Like, we don't want to get into position and then immediately have to move out of that position because of, two of our teammates going down immediately. So, yeah, comp is just generally hard all around. This is a pretty good map, I would say, to have, a strong backline presence. E-leader is pretty good here. You can see a lot of angles through mid, especially. So hopefully that helps you out with just getting random picks here and there. Because one thing you do have going for you is that nothing outranges you. Nothing's ever going to outrange you, but nothing comes close in terms of range. So if you just stay really far away from everything, you're always going to at least be safe. The question is figuring out how to have an impact at all without putting yourself into danger. So let's see how this plays out. I'd say relatively even in terms of paint. On paper, your team has more paint because they've got like a blaster, and Machine and Stamper are like fine with paint, but they're not amazing either. And Squiffer is going to be focusing a lot on. It can paint a lot. Depends on how they play it, but a lot of the time, chargers in general are just going to focus on hitting their shots. But same deal, goes double for your team. That your Splat Charger and you are both not going to be doing a ton of painting, and your frontliners are going to be doing a lot of feeding. So it might be good at some point to try and play paint support, since there's not an awful lot of weapons on your team that are going to be deliberately trying to do that. Right now, we're right where our Charger teammate is, which is unfortunate, but I think this is the correct call for you to be the one who stays here and for them to be the one to move. Better to have them take further forward positions since they have shorter range, slightly more aggressive stances, and just for you to be able to crossfire with them. So that works out to get that first pick. Nice. Alright, we'd like to see our teammates moving in a little bit more here. We've got a numbers advantage. We've gotten 2 players down, but like, they could literally just storm mid here, basically, and clear it out and try and get control of left plat. But they're kind of staying back a little bit, giving up some space. So we've hit 3 shots already. Like, this is an outsized impact for sure. This is something that really should be leading to some kind of benefit here. We definitely want to be rotating over here pretty quick because our wiper is going in on the right-hand side, and we want to be in position to be able to get a shot off before they go down. Nice shot. That's exactly what we needed there. I think if we get there slightly faster, we might be able to take that shot and then get around the corner again. I wouldn't take that shot where you get the splat and then stay there for too long, given where the opponents have been and how little pressure our frontliners have had forcing them back so far. So we probably don't want to expose ourselves for too long after that shot's taken, but let me take a look and see like just how long we had to react to that.
Also, I'm watching the Twitch.
Oh
stream.
yeah, here, let me
It's a little bit behind.
yeah, let me get that projected for you. This will be a lot better for you. Let me know when you can see.
There you go.
Okay, so you get the blaster there, and then from here, I would probably just like back up around the wall, unless I'm trying to like drop down or something, because we knew that there was yellow paint on the left. We knew that there were players over there, and our frontliners have been out of play, so nobody's been clearing the left-hand side. So for all you know, there is someone in your street still, and leaving yourself exposed out here, having put the laser out and now putting the laser out again, that's going to give them too much time to get in on you from there. Something that's kind of going through my mind as a frontline player here is like, when the front line goes down, you lose that zone of control in front of you. And so you want to think like, when a teammate goes down, the zone that they controlled is no longer under your control. So for example, we saw the Tri-Nouveau go down on Bunker. That means that unless there's someone else there already shooting at it, we've lost Bunker. There's nothing that we can do with Bunker. And having lost Bunker, it's generally going to be unsafe to drop here or like show ourselves here, even if we've got control of elsewhere in mid, because for all we know, there could be a left flank coming in. And we're going to be losing those zones a lot here because we only have those two front lines, and they're going to be dying a lot, in part because they're having to fight Kyo. Yeah, I like the idea to take the shots. From here, you're pretty safe because we know where the sloshing machine is. We can hear that sound effect on the map, and it's out in front of us. So we know where pretty much everybody is from here based on splashes that we've seen around the map. So we can just take as many shots as we want as long as they're not going to contest us, up until the point where they start making themselves invisible to us. So good couple of shots there. Unfortunate that we lost the front line and weren't able to hold. But there's a pick, and we should be able to get this between us and the team. Unfortunate. It wasn't an easy shot for you. I was hoping that the team would, like, paint behind them to keep them stuck there. But... okay, so the player down below you there, I would have considered at least trying to get over to the front of the ledge there and firing a tap shot or two. Reason being, you know that as soon as you go back around that corner, so let's back up for a second. As soon as you're behind cover, the opponent is going to know they don't have shots on you, and they're going to turn and focus on your teammate instead. Where... is this that moment? Yeah, this is that moment we were looking at. This is actually really far back. I don't know why it went back this far, but okay. It's a nice shot. Nice, and then... okay, so it's from here. So you're over here, and your teammate is starting to rush in. Blaster shows up. Go for a shot there, and that's a shot that you could, in theory, hit, so that's a good one to go for. Now, right here, you see that this is Kyo. So you see that Kyo pops up over the plat here and starts launching attacks at you. When you duck around this corner, you need to anticipate that they're going to switch targets. They're going to be looking at DJD after this. So once you duck around the corner here, like, knowing you have that teammate there, you probably don't even need to go this far to the left. You probably just need to get out of the way of the machine shots. But then as soon as your teammate goes back in, start trying to aim a shot again. Even if you only get partial damage, that's still helping your teammate a lot. And, you know, if you leave your teammate in a 1v1 against Kyo here, they're probably going to lose because, again, it's Kyo. So at the very least here, what I wanted to see you do was, when you came out in this direction, at the very least, like, just go straight to the left and maybe try to take a tap shot at him and then back up again. Because you know that right now Kyo is looking at DJD. They're not looking at you.
So countering the counter.
The way to think about it is that you're in a 2v1, and so the goal here is shoot at the guy who's shooting at your teammate. If you're the one being shot at, that's when you back away. But as soon as you back away, recognize that, you know, this is what they want. They want to create a 1v1 out of a 1v2. Kyo is just kind of diving into a situation where they don't have a numbers advantage. And so the way to punish them for that is whoever they're shooting at needs to, you know, play evasively and stall for as much time as possible to give the teammate time to shoot at Kyo. Because, you know, Kyo can shoot really, really good, but he can only shoot at one person at a time based on where you guys are positioned. And so it doesn't matter that it's Kyo. Take the free shots on Kyo while you have them, because otherwise you're just putting your teammate in a 1v1 against one of the best 1v1ers to ever 1v1, and now you're going to lose that teammate, and you're going to be in a 1v1 yourself. So since your teammate is committed here, try and do your best to help them out as much as you can. Obviously, you know, you need to be very careful to notice when your teammate is going to go down. The best case scenario here is probably a trade, because you're in an awkward position as an E-leader to be able to hit shots on Kyo, especially since you moved to the left. If you stayed on the right, you probably could have right-side peeked around that ledge there and been able to get back to safety sooner, which gives you longer to fire your shots. But what you're hoping for here is that DJD does enough damage that you can get maybe like one tap shot off or one partial charge shot off, and Kyo goes down for it, and you keep your advantage.
Okay,
But
I wasn't sure that was a 2v1 when that was happening, so...
Gotcha. Was it that you didn't notice your teammate down there?
Yeah, I thought they'd already died to Kyo.
Yeah, they just go down right here, so... So Kyo's below you. Not a bad idea. We just need to be careful that they don't come up from behind us here. Okay, yeah, good job. This is another situation where I think we're playing a little bit scared, because, like, again, Kyo's playing a little goofy. He's kind of just like 1v3ing. So, like, what's happening is we're all so scared of Kyo that we're turning our backs on the objective, and his teammates are able to 3v1 the objective before he goes down. There are kind of two ways to deal with this, one of which you kind of did already, which is ignore him until he becomes a threat. So you deal with the objective for as long as he allows you to. The second way is overwhelm him and get him down really quickly before his teammates have time to get the objective. In this kind of a situation where it's asymmetric, where it's unbalanced numbers, you've always got to make one decision like that. Now, from here... Like, this is a situation where you could just go splatter shot mode and try to right side peek with tap shots, because look at where he's facing. He's facing backwards. He's looking at your teammates who are directly behind him. If you just hit like 2 tap shots right now, that's the easiest pick ever. Like, he's going to turn immediately to you, he's going to hit one direct, and then Nelly's going to be able to get on his back and get rid of him. Like, these are positions that are winnable in theory. We just need to, like, not be scared of top player and recognize top player is looking away from me. Top player is shooting somebody else. That means that it's time for me to shoot top player, you know, regardless of how good they are. Because when they've got their back turned to me and don't know I'm there, they are still not scary. They're scary once they can aim, and, you know, they're in a 1v1 and they're on even numbers and whatnot, but they don't have help right now. This is a time that we should be kind of turning the tables on them. So in that situation, we have basically 2 options. We either want to run away from him, which I wouldn't probably recommend there because that's just letting him 1v1 a teammate. Or we can like hard commit and actually go in for the tap shot kill. The thing about what we do here is that we start shooting some shots, but then we run away. So now we haven't made as much distance between us and them, and we also have revealed ourselves. So it's kind of like the worst of both worlds. So we either want to just like go straight for the kill or try to back away and get more distance before we start initiating the fight. Someone in chat says he's kind of just 1v3ing. What is this? A team-based game? Yes. So here's why this works. I want to... Because there are plenty of people in Splatoon who try to take 1v3s. There are all sorts of like Aerosprays and Sploosh players who learned that if you get into the enemy base in the last 20 seconds with a weapon that paints a lot, that you'll probably win that game of Turf War. And so they try to play every mode like that and just kind of run into the back lines. The problem with that sort of idea is that you're there by yourself. What Kyo is doing here, though, is he's keeping himself alive long enough for his team to come in from the front. Kyo, making this play right here is a play on tower. Kyo knows that we are riding the tower, but that there's no one up there with the tower rider. And so if he can just keep the rest of the team back for enough time, his team can collapse on the tower. The goal of a flank like this is always to get pressure from the front while you're applying pressure from the back. And that's where a lot of beginner players get flanking wrong. It's that they'll flank when their team is not in position to help with that. And they don't have the mechanical skill to keep themselves alive long enough for their team to get in position to help with that. A flank only works if there are two different angles being attacked at the same time. You've got to make them fight a two-front war. Otherwise, all that happens is everybody turns around and splats the one player and then moves on with their lives. And they have a numbers advantage. So where Kyo's play is maybe a little bit silly here, and even here not really maybe that much, is that he's putting himself in really, really deep to the point where I think he's kind of relying on mechanically outplaying to be able to last as long as he is. I don't think he runs this kind of a play. I don't think he goes quite this aggressively against Alliance Rogue. I think he has to be just a tiny bit more honest against the top-level team that's going to have all of their angles covered, that's going to be able to turn and collapse on him quickly. But I think here, like, he's just recognizing, okay, people aren't, paying attention to everything. The tower's out there by itself. I can cut it off from all of its support. And he's going in and making that play with that knowledge. And it ends up working out here. But I don't think that that's, necessarily purely because it's, like, the best play available. I think he could have, done something very similar, but played maybe a little bit more safe. But I think there was an opportunity to punish him there. I think there was a time where he should have just gone down for free because he was in a 1v3. We probably, don't get quite as fast of a tower push that way, but I think that he was vulnerable for a moment there. So he's kind of relying on the mechanical side of things to be able to get through this. So as we move out here, are we checking the map?
I think so.
Because I see two players, one of whom at least was in street, who are down, and a lot of yellow ink in this street. I also know that Kyo was in this vicinity recently. So, like, showing laser at this point in time, like, with all that yellow out there, that's pretty scary. That's something we probably at least want to, like, throw some tap shots out over, just to check. Put ourselves in a position where we're able to, get away. It's a clever little Squid Surge play that he made there. It gives him an angle that you can't get normally. Pretty well defended, too. Okay. One other thing about painting that area on the left is that now, because that area has remained unpainted, this entire left-hand side is free for them to walk into. They don't have to paint over what you've already put down. They can just kind of swim forward. At the beginning, I talked about how this is a situation where you might need to play a little bit of paint support because nobody on your team really wants to paint. That, I think, is one situation where that would have helped, where we get a little bit of paint down on the left-hand side, and that'll slow their advance significantly once we get into this kind of situation. But this is still a powerful spot. This is still something we have to worry about. We don't want to stay in one place for too long there. It was definitely about the very latest we wanted to stay there before moving. Yeah, this should be okay. Because you can see the tower, they can't hit you, so this is smart to just stay right here for now. At a certain point, they are going to move into positions where you can't see them. But with the tower being in this kind of limbo where they can't reach it from ground level, all you really have to do to keep the tower resetting is stay right here, and that'll cover it. So, not too bad. Now, you are probably going to get Booyah bombed here. Yep. And I would definitely not have run forward to avoid that Booyah bomb. I would have run to the right. Couple of reasons for that. Number one, when you go to the right, you were taking that position earlier. That's still just a good E-leader position, and you've also been known to be up here for some time anyway. So it's about time to be shifting positions, regardless, and that's just kind of an excuse to go and do it. But for another thing, if you run forward, you're putting yourself into range of the machine here. Like, this forces you close enough that they can throw the bomb behind you, that they can hit the machine shots and stuff. So you're safer on the right, and you also still have a vantage point. You have a vantage point sooner than you would have it running forward. So I think that doesn't end up getting completely punished, but you definitely took damage for that you probably didn't need to. I'm still worried about this left-hand side. Like, we have not splatted Kyo yet. I'd like to at least get some top shots over there, yeah. But... man, okay, we saw Kyo on the bottom left over there now, so now we know that they're cleared out. This is risky because you're basically as far forward as your furthest player forward. A rule that KO told me once was just always have a frontliner ahead of you. And from here, I think their name is Molly. Yeah, Nelly. Nelly, it's right. So Nelly is the furthest forward, but then they go down. So now it's DJD, or Elijah. Elijah's on a flank, so now it's DJD, because we're looking at DJD. And DJD gets shot at, and you walk right up to the spot where they're shooting at DJD from. You really prefer to be taking an angle that's not already being looked at, like, because you don't have the tacticooler, you have had your laser hidden and everything. They don't know you're here, but that doesn't matter if they accidentally hit you because they're aiming at your teammate who's right next to you. So from here, let me see how this developed here, how our positioning was. I'm thinking maybe you get up on the left wall, or maybe you take a different angle or something. They go up over the top. Yeah, from here, I might just consider playing the left wall. They don't have anything super long ranged, so it's not like you're especially afraid. Left side peeking is going to be a little bit awkward, but you still probably have shots on some people on plat. You could even drop to cut if you really need to for the angles. But, like, standing right where DJD is, and where he's, like, setting up the tacticooler and stuff, is probably just going to make your toes get stepped on. And now it's just you. So, we make it up. We know there's someone on bunker. 2 people on bunker now. Let me take a look at the first shot here. So this shot right here, I'm not sure if they've seen you yet. It might not be good to fire this shot from here just for stealth reasons. because this might let them know that if they get too close to that right ledge where you eventually position to be able to shoot, that it's going to be dangerous there. Might have been able to get a pick if we'd moved from someplace else, but Nellie's there now, I guess, so we probably have to go take a slightly different angle here. Man, they really got the one, huh? That's a game. Okay, so they're on the wall. They're squid rolling off. This might be a situation, honestly, to jump down and go after them. Like, it's, I think it's a 4v2 at the moment. Like, if we drop to plat and that puts us in range to hit this shot, that might be worth it. Because, you know, there are plenty of our teammates who are also getting their attention from here. So, like, right here, as soon as, like, Nelly starts to swim in, especially, because, like, they're going to go after Nelly before they're going to go after you, and that gives you time to jump out, worst case scenario. If you drop down here and that's what you need to get in range, this might be worth it, because then you can get your team moving forward if you hit shots or if your team is able to do stuff. But from here, we kind of just stay just out of range to be able to have an impact. I would probably have let Nelly take the tower if they had an ink vac, but they had just used it in that fight, so I think it is probably the best choice for you to be the one on here. Put some mines down on the tower. Never hurts to have them somewhere. And it's not like you're going to be using a ton of ink right this second, given that you're just getting bombed off it. Woo, okay. Good thing we stuck on the wall that time. This would be another good place to put mines, because bunker is a place where players can typically approach unseen, so it's good to be able to spot that before it happens. Machine around the corner there, and unfortunately your weapon just doesn't have a ton that it can do about that from this position. That's just like good positioning from Kyo. Now we probably didn't want to stick around there putting the laser out for that long. They do have at least 3 weapons that are able to reach from the top of the bunker wall. You'll see like a lot of splatlings trying to position back here on the grates when and try to, you know, be ready for people to come over the top. But your charge takes longer than theirs to be able to get lethal damage, and you're positioning further forward than they typically would anyway. So we want to be a little bit further back if we're going to take that spot. It looks like we're kind of not sure between I want to ride the tower and I want to, you know, take a position where I'm going to be able to defend myself. So we kind of get stuck sort of in the middle, and Kyo recognizes that you're a little too far forward and runs in to capitalize on it. Because this is an awkward position. Like, this is not a winning position for the game at all, where we need to get on the tower in 12 seconds, but we just have not been able to, like, win their street, and we just got 2 players down. And that'll be game. So that was not an easy game to win. You did a lot early on, hitting shots and whatnot. And I think what really doomed it was the fact that we made no progress off of hitting those shots. Like, the no space was really gained, even though you hit, like, at least 3 or 4 shots in the opening there. That's more so, I would say, on the side of... I don't want to say, like, it's the fault of the front line, because we didn't have enough of a front line. We had 2 chargers. If you have 1 more frontline weapon, and that still happens, then yeah, that's the front line's problem. But here, it's like... they're both weapons that are designed to feed, so they're going to be down pretty often. They can only do so much. So I think we played relatively well there. There were definitely a couple of moments where there were engagements that we could have taken in a way that could have come out on top more often. And there were a couple of shots that we could have hit that, you know, might have made more of a difference. But at the end of the day, you're playing against one of the best players in North America, and you had a team comp that was really not doing you any favors. So this is one of those games where you just go, okay, well, I'm not too mad. So, do you have any questions about it?
Not really, just a couple things to comment on.
Mhm.
For one, I think the funniest part about this is that this was my first match after like a medium long break. And so I'm just like, oh, okay. But also, I'm a free agent, so, anyone out there?
All right, well, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. And good luck getting back into the swing of things after your break. It looks like you're, hitting shots here and there just fine. And best of luck going forward and finding a team.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to head out of the call now. Okay. Well, that was fairly quick to be getting through the VOD review portion. I think what I will do is play a little bit of solo here, and maybe a little bit of Q&A if people have questions. I do have a scrim at 9 p.m. Eastern that I have to be ready for, so, I mean, it's not a bad thing to play basically right up until it's time for that scrim, because then I'll be warmed up for it, but also I do have a hard stop there, so let's take a look at what the game has gifted us. Tower Control, Sturgeon, and Mako. Okay, that's not bad at all. We can roll with that. What do we want to play? These would be good T-Tech maps. I'll go T-Tech. Solo Q&A. I'm going to go and take a quick restroom break, but then I'll be right back, and I'll try to get caught up with questions and whatnot. Okay, well, I got a question real quick. Back on the flanking topic, is the goal when distracting the enemies to splat them as well, or just to keep yourself alive? The goal is... So, let's talk about just taking fights in general. Really quick. Because... the goal is to get them splatted, but you may or may not be the person who does the splatting, and you are not the person who has control over which of those your role is. So, there. So, let's say that there is opponent here, you have teammate and you, and you're trying to engage on this fight, right? If they're looking at your teammate, they're not looking at you, they're not shooting at you, they can't stop you from shooting them. And so the way that you always want to play this situation is, if you're the player who's being shot at, that you just play as evasively as possible and try to survive, maybe deal damage back if that's possible, but your primary goal here a lot of the time is to give your teammate as much time as possible to come in and get the free shots. Now, what's realistically going to happen in a lot of fights is that this is going to switch, that the opponent is going to look at another teammate, and now it's this teammate's turn to go in and get those free shots. This is the disadvantage that you're trying to create for this opponent when you have a 2v1 situation. That they can only shoot at one of you at a time, and during the time that you're shooting at one of them, you're getting shot by the other one. All this player has to do is try and survive. You have to both try and survive and hit shots, and then be healthy enough to be able to deal with this player, even if you get this one down. So that's how a 2v1 should really get played out. In order to create those sorts of situations, which are advantageous, that's why you would want someone to be going in at a different angle. Because if, they're just kind of mindlessly painting zone here, and you've snuck somebody in, around the back, or, and it's probably more common, they're going to come over bunker, like this. This flank is great if you have a teammate who's like here, who's keeping them busy in the meantime. Maybe they're painting the zone so that this player is looking at the zone and isn't looking in the direction that you're coming from, or something like that. But let's say that you go in and you make this kind of a play, and all of your teammates are just like back here or something. This is feeding. There is no shot that this player gets over here in time to be able to save you in this engagement. You're just charging in to an area that's unlikely to be painted your color against a player who almost certainly has some help somewhere else on the map here that's going to be coming to help them very soon. At the very most, you're probably getting a 1-for-1 trade out of this. And you probably want to play for more most of the time, especially if you're going to invest all of the time it takes to go from this position on the map all the way over to this position on the map. So when you ask, like, is the goal to splat them? Yes, but you don't know who they're going to be shooting at. And the job is always on the player who's not being shot at to do the splatting, and the player who is being shot at to do the skirmishing. So this is what we talk about when we talk about the skirmisher-slayer pair. The skirmisher is the player whose job it is to keep the enemy's attention. The slayer is the job of actually going in unseen and splatting the opponent. But the problem with thinking about weapons in terms of this is a skirmisher and this is a slayer is that the opponent really gets to choose which player they're aiming at any point in time. And whoever they're aiming at, I don't care what weapon you're using, you're skirmishing now. And if they're not aiming at you, I don't care what weapon you're using, you're a slayer now for that moment in time. Those roles are priorities. They are not really weapons. So there are some weapons that slay better than others, and in a neutral game situation, you want to set yourself up so that you're unseen, so that you're more likely to be in situations where you can slay. And if you're a skirmisher, then you want to put yourself in annoying places where you can get in the opponent's way and draw their aggro so that you can skirmish. But again, when you end up in that position where you've got one player here, it is the enemy player who is determining what role it is you need to play in that moment. If you're being shot at, just chill, draw aggro, stall for time, maybe put some shots back if you have the opportunity to, but it's your teammate's job to get that pick. And if your teammate is being shot at, then you are letting your teammate die in a 1v1 if you don't go in and engage that player and commit to trying to splat them. With flanking. Flanking is just there to create this situation where they have to look two different directions, because if the opponent is right here, and we've got opponent here and opponent here, it's still not a great situation for them to be in, but if they can just, like, put a bomb on this spot and move both of them, then that's a problem for these two players. Whereas if you've got people coming from two different directions at this guy, now they're in a lot more trouble because they have to look further away to be able to take this engagement. Positioning also matters here. So for example, if you're in this kind of a position, this player right here is very close to the corner. Like, their line of sight on you is about to get cut off. It's only about right here. If you just back up this way, now you've completely removed this guy from the fight until they go all the way around the corner. So that might buy you a little bit of time if you've got the range to hit this guy to be in a 1v1 and then be able to win this 1v1 and then either disengage from the other player or take the fight if you're still healthy enough. And this is the kind of thing that, like, Kyo is doing really well when he stays alive in that engagement we looked at before. He's doing a good job of making it so that even though there are three people trying to engage on him, only one of them can actually be shooting at him at a time. And since he's better at shooting, he's going to win that 1v1. And he's going to be able to just make it so that he takes them out one after the other. He's never trying to fight all four of them at once. There's no weapon in the game that's really good at doing that. Maybe like a Tri-Slosher if they're all super bunched up. Basically, nothing can actually fight that way. You're always going to try and get them strung out so that you're taking a string of 1v1s if you end up having to fight that out. But because Kyo is so good at skirmishing, at keeping the enemy team busy while not going down, that's what skirmishing is making it so they can't do what they want to do, but they can't kill you either. He's letting his team get into play. The situation that we were talking about in particular, just to draw it out real quick, is tower. Let's just get the tower path up on screen. Why not? Oh, this is Scorch. Let's get to Manta. So the situation we were looking at before is tower is here, but there's one player riding tower, and then most of the others are like spawning in or in this kind of a position. I think this is about the layout that we've got. If Kyo is able to be like here or like anywhere in this general area, now these players, instead of running up in front, getting in front of the tower and creating a protective perimeter that will keep the tower safe enough to push, Kyo is making all of these players turn backwards and look in the wrong direction. Now, this obviously is a problem for Kyo if he can't stay alive. But because he does stay alive as long as he does, the tower here is really vulnerable, and his 3 teammates push the tower and get rid of that player. And while Kyo is still alive, I think he ends up being like up on... So Kyo ends up like right here, and then we've got like the E-leader dropping through the grates onto enemy ink here. We've got one player who's over here and one player who's still respawning. It's this kind of a position. So this player gets just eliminated right away. And now there's a defenseless E-leader here. There's an opposing player who is being kept away from the tower now by Kyo, because now it's the enemy team's tower. Now we're trying to transition into Kyo's team's own push. And so now we're trying to create this kind of an arc to keep everyone away from the tower. And now Kyo is playing keep away to keep this player out. That's how you kind of make a play like that work. And notice that now, at this moment in the play, Kyo actually is with his team, does have help. He's kind of regrouped because now the point is to push with the team and create this defensive perimeter. Okay. I am going to go to the bathroom now, though. I will give you a frog, though. Enjoy, frog. All right. I hope you have enjoyed Frog. Okay. Had a game with you earlier, the one with 3DCs and Clam. Oh yeah, I remember seeing your tag. I'm just backing up really far into the chat. All right. Jem, do you know what trickling is? I heard it used in a video, but I'm not sure what it means. Yes, trickling in is when your team is not fully regrouped, but you're already going in. It's when you're going in one at a time. It's something that's very likely to cause the feed stacker loop. I talk about that in the S Plus video if you haven't heard of it. Okay. Are hyphens used correctly in half crime fighter? What? What's what are they like half of a crime fighter? I'm confused. Like, in what situation does that even make sense? So Wiper, I'm having a hard time balancing between overcommitting and hiding behind teammates in early and neutral. Do you have any tips or videos on your channel with relevant advice? I think I learned a lot from watching Pika. There is one particular match that it really clicked for me when I was watching it. And you can hear their call-outs as well. I'm going to really quickly pull that up. I think it was... This is from a little while back. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Okay. So I'm putting the link in chat here. But let's jump over real quick and watch this here. This is very zoomed in. Okay. So the big thing to take note of here is how fast he's moving to start with, and like how quickly he's getting himself into an annoying, difficult to push position. Because he's here so quickly, the enemy team is only just barely rolling out onto their ramp right now, and he has teammates in mid. So if somebody drops down to try and fight him here, he can probably stall that out long enough that his teammates are helping him out. So this is a relatively safe place to be. But he's keeping himself like right under ledges, keeping himself right under the enemy team's nose, and as soon as he runs into like two players there, knows he's going to get pinched, just drops back over the ledge, keeps himself safe. But he's drawing attention, he's being annoying, he's getting in their way. He's stopping them from moving as far forward as they normally would be able to. And so now, without having... Okay, actually, they did splat someone on the left-hand side. I missed that. But now they've got people coming in from mid, and they've got control all the way up to ramp. Because, like, once they got this player, there was nobody else controlling mid. And so now all of mid is theirs. And this is the effect that a weapon like this has on the game. They are able to take a position further forward than most other weapons can take, which means that they have more space than the other team has. So, like, this kind of playstyle where, again, just staying under ledges, using the mobility to stay safe, but also throwing out shots here and there to make it so that the opponents can't ignore them. So they clear out that corner there, yeet the hammer, and just like that, like very little bloodshed, very little time, team has control of the basket already. So I would go and watch this match in particular. I think that it's very informative listening to the callouts to be able to hear what the general plan is from the team, hear what they're saying on the mic, and kind of get their thought process on it. But also just to see the play style and mechanics of it. That again, your job is like to know where your team is, so you know where you have help and how safe you are and what positions you can take. But to be further forward than most weapons are capable of going, to control space and make it so that the enemy team has to work harder to push as far as your team does. Okay. They fight half of a crime fighter? No, that doesn't make sense, because if it's a half crime fighter, then they're either fighting half crimes or they're half fighting crime. Those are the only two interpretations, but I don't feel like either of those really make a lot of sense. Talk about transitive verbs. They're verbs that take objects. I'll actually probably be talking about transitive verbs tomorrow, so you can tune in for that if you're interested. Do they fight halves of crimes? Yeah, like half of one's daily occupation involves crime fighting. Okay. So you wouldn't... I don't think you would put a hyphen between half and crime fighter then. I think it would be half... crime fighter. There are some different rules for that. Sometimes they're compound words. I don't remember if you have two separate words there or if you do have to hyphenate them. I'd have to remind myself there. Do you think using rollers is noobish or immature? I don't ever see pros with rollers. Have they seen it? Oh, so actually there are... so Volti from Alliance Rogue is a Carbon Deco player. But there is... I think you are spotting something of a pattern there in that there are reasons to pick rollers, but they're probably not the reasons that people pick the rollers for early on. There's a little bit of like... As people learn the game, different tactics start to become more valuable, and certain other tactics, people learn that there are counters to them and start beating them. So let's take, for example... We'll just grab the Carbon Deco. Actually, let's grab the Splat Roller, because that's a pretty common early option, especially since you get it so early on in the game. Where is my Splat Roller? Holy mackerel. Okay, here it is. So, what a lot of people will do early on, like especially young kids, is they'll find out that they can splat someone by just doing this. And this doesn't require really learning the motion controls at all. They can just kind of walk around and do this, and they get splats. And so that becomes, you know, first order optimal, to use a term that's been coined before. This is like the thing that you do when you haven't had a lot of time to learn the game, and it's just like an easy way to play. But this doesn't work at competitive levels of play, because this is incredibly short range. Like, look at how close I have to get to someone before that actually triggers. I'm right on top of them. This is a game in which a weapon like the T-Tech, for example, which is not a particularly long-ranged weapon, can splat you from all the way back here. If they see someone who's just kind of like out in the open, in kid form, just walking slowly toward them, you get to a point in mechanical skill where the T-Tech player should be able to splat that player every single time they try to make that play. And so rollers fall off if that's the way that you're using them, because there is a counter strategy available to the ways that they are commonly used by newer players. And since a lot of players tend to gravitate away from rollers during that time, there tend to be fewer roller players that make it up the ranks. But rollers are playable, just they have a different strategy at higher levels. And one really key thing that makes them less common at high level is that playing a roller requires a team that's going to paint for the roller. Rollers need to be able to like shark up to things and ambush them, so you'd be able to use these like short-range flicks to get one-shots. This is about let's see. This, I'd say, right about here. Yeah, this is about max range away from someone to be able to one-shot them. Slightly closer. There we go. This is not a great weapon range. You know, it's better than rolling at someone, but it's not great. You can maybe get the one-shot from, like, a little further back with the vertical. It's still not great. So, it really benefits this weapon to not be seen coming in, and so the more paint you have, the stealthier it can play. But this is also a weapon that, number one, because it's sharking, and number two, just by nature of the way the weapon works, doesn't paint super well for itself. This is pretty slow compared to how fast a shooter can put down that paint. So you can make a roller work, but what you need to do is have other members of your team who are painting a lot for it to enable it to get in. And when you watch my breakdown of Alliance Rogue's set against Starburst recently, where they were able to beat them in part using Volti on the Carbon Deco, the reason that that's working so well is that you've got Gray, who is playing the Neo Splash, who's painting an absolute obscene amount in every single match. Like, he broke 3K ink painted on the ground in a number of those matches. A lot of people never hit, like, 2K painted. But he's hitting 3K, and one of the things that that's doing is making it so that the map is painted so often that Volti can just kind of show up and do this sort of thing all the time. It's always difficult to spot where Volti is. And another thing that Gray is doing to support that is throwing a whole bunch of tri-strikes with that paint, because tri-strikes are a smoke screen, and so that'll let Volti swim in even if someone's trying to track their Ninja Squid. So it works, but it's very team dependent, which makes it harder to find teams, which means that a lot of players are going to flex to other weapons that they like. They're going to maybe give up on it early and never really come back to it until after they've mastered another weapon class. It's less common to see, but it's not that it doesn't necessarily work. The weapon you're probably looking to try and make work, if you're playing this ambush roller playstyle, is the Carbon Deco. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at a Flingza roller, which plays more like a support. Trying to convince my friend to play Forge Pro over Ends Up 85. What can I say to convince him? Those are two very different weapons that do very different things. So they're like, and they're about as, people do have more use cases for the Ends Up 85 than they do for the Forge Pro right now. But like, there's Nine tweeted once about a conversation that he had with Penguin. Penguin was one of the best North American players ever, early on in like Splatoon 2 especially. Member of STDX, if anyone's heard of that. And he asked Penguin what the best weapon in the game was, and Penguin answered, the best at what? And that's a really good way to think about weapons. Like, there are some weapons that are better at, say, splatting someone really quickly. But that's not necessarily everything you need on a team comp. So while, you know, a weapon that's really, really good at splatting someone really quickly is great to have and will probably be meta, that's not the only thing you need on a team comp. There are other niches that need to be filled. So what is it that's you want them to be doing on the Forge Pro? It has, you know, a better special in large part, but it's also got a worse kill time, and I guess neither weapons bomb is really fantastic for it, but it is a lethal bomb. It's not bad. Forge Pro has ink efficiency problems, though, and the NZAP really doesn't have those. So NZAP makes for a good, like, fast, aggressive support weapon that's going to get Tacticoolers quickly. If you're trying to run Tacticooler, it is one of two options that you're considering in the current metagame, the other one being the Tri-Nouveau. Forge Pro is just kind of a little bit outclassed by the sloshing machine right now. So it just kind of depends on like what their skill set is, what you're trying to do with that weapon. have a lot of problems dealing with machines and playing Tri Nouveau as they just outrange me. Is the plan just to get away from them or something different? So, I mean, you beat the weapon if you get on top of it. And the challenge, the entire challenge, and that's the entire challenge of the Tri Nouveau in general, is how the heck do you get on top of them? You have fizzies. They have fizzies. They have more range, but you have your better fire rate and better kill time. And that's what you need to be able to leverage to get the splats on them. And that's the overall challenge of the Tri-Slosher in general. If you can get in, then you get to at least trade every single time. And it's definitely worth it. And if you can't get in, well, it's not the weapon that you're probably trying to play in that moment. Because that is really the central problem of the weapon. That's it. Once you find a solution for that, then the weapon works. And the challenge is finding that solution for every given scenario. I like to Velociraptor around my house. That depends entirely on whether you can use Velociraptor as a verb. I mean, I'm pretty sure I have a general idea of what that means. It's not especially formal unless Velociraptor is a verb that I'm unaware of. Thoughts on Slosher Deco? Pretty underwhelming. Probably better to just go for the vanilla Slosher if that's the main weapon you want to play. If you want a Zipcaster specifically, and that's the reason you're using it, you're probably going for Stamper with that sort of a weapon. Could also go Octobrush, that has its niches. Line Marker, not good. Question that confused my language arts teacher in 7th grade. You have one black cat and one orange cat. Do you have 2 types of cat or 2 types of cats? I believe it would be 2 types of cat. I guess it could go either way. 2 types of cats. One type of cat is the tuxedo cat. Another type of cats is... Yeah, they both work. I don't think either of those are wrong. Because they can... It makes sense for either, you know, cats to be referring to the species or cats to be referring to just all of cats that exist. I think they're both fine. If you were to change it to 2 type of cat, then you would have a disagreement between the modifier and the noun there, but you're probably good. What Flingza kit would you hope for? The one that it has is probably the only one that's ever going to see use. It's really, really well suited to what the weapon does well, which is spam paint and be able to go in aggressively when it's time to push, which is perfectly supported by it having missiles. You really can't get much better than giving a weapon missiles. There are a lot of weapons that would really love to have that. You could give it a better bomb, but you know, since they're never going to double up on giving the same special to a weapon, I don't know that, you know, giving it a bomb is going to make up for taking away missiles. Maybe if you give it, like, Booyah Bomb and Fizzy, that sees some play, but then you're competing with the machine, and I still don't know that it meets, you know, it's favorable there. I'm a Stamper player. Tips for fighting Wipers. Well, I haven't played enough Stamper to really know that 1v1 super well. I would think your goal is use your range as best you can. Stay out of their range and be poking them from a range they can't hit you from. But I can't say a ton about it. I haven't played it a lot myself. It wouldn't matter whether types is the subject. Cat cannot be the subject because cat is the object of a preposition. Again, we will talk about syntax stuff tomorrow. So feel free to save your questions for that stream, because literally we can cover, I believe, all of English syntax from what a noun is to what a gerund phrase is in one stream. I firmly believe that we're capable of getting that far. So, save those kinds of questions for that moment. But, you know, I could break it down for you if you really wanted to at some point. You can remove of cat and still have a sentence. And that's because of cat is a prepositional phrase. What's your opinion on 52 with splat bombs and missiles? Would it usurp the crab meta or just... Giving a shooter missiles is a big problem. That is a thing you probably don't want to do here. That's going to break things real quick. Disregarding how line marker isn't a good sub, what do you think is the best kit with line marker right now? Let's take a look. That is the wrong menu. This is the menu I'm looking for. Probably Slosher Deco. In any situation where you're okay with having an ink vac, then the jet is definitely an argument. Because that is a weapon that has actually seen top level play. But again, you have to be able to justify an ink vac. An ink vac is generally considered probably the weakest special in the game right now. Any kits you're hoping to see next season? I don't really try to make predictions or anything like that. Like, I'm not... I prefer to spend more of my time thinking about what we currently have than I think about what we could have in future. Like, I try to understand the game more as it is than I try to predict what it should be or, you know, think about what should change about it. So... that's just kind of my perspective there. What do you think of the usage of AI LLMs at different levels? What does LLM stand for? Language learning... large language model. At different levels of education. Oh, you mean like people using it to write their essays for them or something? It's definitely something that has the potential to become a problem, and I think is currently becoming a problem, but it's also like a lot of the time the AIs have a particular writing style that you can pick up on, and once you start to become familiar with how they write, you can start to tell, because like kids are going to screw up. Kids are going to make mistakes. You can compare one kid's writing to another kid in their grade. And yeah, you know, one of them could be getting much better grades and just be in general, like, better scholastically talented. But they're still going to make some mistakes, especially at particular levels. And when you see something writing just with perfect syntax, never making any mistakes, even though you know that kid got a B on your prepositions quiz and definitely has made some mistakes there before, it's not the easiest thing to pick. It's not the most difficult thing to pick out right now. Like I said, there is potential for it to become a problem. Right now, I'm not super worried. Like, there have always been kids who would go and take essays on the same topic and try to submit them as their own, things like that. And at least at the levels that I taught, the kids were never smart enough to really get away with it on a large scale. Sometimes they'd get away with it. Sometimes they'd fool you. But most of the time, you're able to spot patterns and catch those kinds of things. Or they're not using it to cheat that much. They're maybe picking out bits and pieces of something, but not actually... There's still a good amount of thought that's going into it, even if they took some wording for themselves. I am trying to figure out... Oh, there we are. Okay. What about splatter shot with burst bomb, tentamissiles? Replace splash at top level? Probably. Missiles are just kind of straight up better than crab, and that would get it very fast. I think we're going to get another splatter shot with missiles again. It's only a matter of time before they give a shooter missiles and it breaks the game. Like, I don't know. Maybe they've learned. Maybe they've learned. But because like they've only given missiles to certain weapons, like main weapons. So maybe they know. Maybe they're not going to go there. I don't know. A what phrase? Probably prepositional phrase, I think was what we were talking. Maybe gerund phrase. I don't know. We'll talk about it tomorrow, like I said. You should put my cat on the screen. He is cool. Well, here are some cats. I think I've got your cat into this slideshow. They'll show up eventually. Will we cover the plural of octopus tomorrow? I've heard octopi, octopuses, and octopodes, and I think everyone will know what you're talking about. So I don't care particularly which one you choose, but there's probably something that scientists will tell you is correct, and I'd go with what they say. Yes, we are getting an English class tomorrow. After my dentist appointment. Can you talk about the difference between perfect past and perfect present tense? So both of them are going to have a form of the verb to have included in there. But then you're going to have a different form of the verb depending on which one you've got. So let's say splat is our base verb that we're using here. So to splat is the infinitive form. And then you've got the simple present, which is splat, the simple past, which is splatted, and then the progressive sense of the verb, which is splatting. And using those forms plus combinations of different verbs, we can create different tenses like the perfect past and the perfect present. So perfect past would be you take the simple past form, splatted, and put had in front of it. So had splatted. And then perfect present, you're going to take had, you'd take have, so say have splatted. So perfect past is, there's this moment in time, and before, that we're talking about, and that moment in time that we're talking about is in the past. And before the moment in time that we're talking about, they'd already been splatted. Present perfect is, there's this moment in time, and that time is right now. And just before now, this person has gone and splatted someone. So, hopefully that helps. Yes, we are into Q&A. And I'm watching the time carefully because I do have a scrim in about a half hour. I remember someone mentioning an idea of the angle shooter's lines dealing damage. How do you think it would affect how the sub is used? That'd be fun. I still don't know how useful it would be, although it would definitely... It'd kind of be like being able to have, like, a little bit of a wave breaker out, I guess. A wave breaker you can aim. It should probably be a relatively small amount of damage, but I think that would be a pretty big improvement to it. AI also makes up citations, which can be easy to check. Yeah, like if it's making citations to sources that don't exist, then yeah, you're gonna find that pretty quick. You're gonna find that real quick. I'll put the cats back up. Watched a video where they discussed how AIs could learn animal communication, specifically sperm whales. That's interesting. Going to replicate AI's writing style and keep my teachers guessing. That's difficult to do, because the AI, they may not be good at collecting information that makes sense. Like, they get a lot of things just factually wrong, but they are very good with syntax. They do not screw that sort of thing up. So you have to be pretty darn perfect with syntax. If you can imitate an AI successfully, your English teacher's probably pretty happy with you already. What are some things you've done to manage your tilt when you were starting to learn Splatoon? Right now, my primary goal is achieve a good mindset, so that way my gameplay isn't negatively impacted. Ideally, if you find yourself tilting, just stop. Just, like, take a break for 10 minutes or something. That has a way of making you aware of the tilt and what you need to do to counteract it. If you can't do that in the moment, then it's important to recognize the tilt and spot it. And that's really the hard part, to recognize that you yourself are currently tilting. If you can't spot that, if you don't know what a trigger is that will cause that emotional state to occur for you, when that happens, you'll often just not notice it and keep going and think that everything's normal. So it requires a lot of self-awareness. Dracunis has to miss out of gym today. Signed, Dracunis' mother. Yeah, no. Foolproof. You think giving Big Swig missiles will break... Oh my god, please don't. That would make it... I don't know. That would make it a weapon that would be considered. It also depends on the sub-weapon it gets. The main weapon is fairly weak in terms of combat, so it is a little bit of a liability. You're basically getting, like, a reflux that... I don't even really know which one of the two fights better, per se. But we don't need another weapon like that. Calling it now, next season, Splash with Splat Bomb and missiles. Yeah, okay, well... Merriam-Webster gives all three plurals of octopus. Okay, yeah. Yeah, there are etymological rules that would dictate, you know, which plural form it should take. But one of the things about language that we'll talk about tomorrow is that when you say a word often enough, even if it's supposed to be wrong, if everyone knows what you're saying, it doesn't really matter. It can just become a word. There are a lot of words that have just changed like that, and over time it's more a matter of, like, just describing the way that the language is used rather than saying here's the way it has to be used. I don't know who the scrim is against. My teammate found it, not me. You watch Demon Slayer? No. Gem, if you could pick one real-life object to inspire a Splatoon weapon, what would you choose? A jetpack. Yes, that's my choice. More jetpacks, please. You ever considered doing a tier list on each weapon kit if everything was perfectly balanced? Basically a tier list on kit synergy? That would change... If things are balanced, then that would change the idea of kit synergy. Like, if a, let's say, line marker has been changed to the point where it's really good now, and it works, that means that it does different things than it currently does. And so the weapon's going to function differently when it uses it. So I think the premise there is flawed. Played Splatoon before. I'm B rank, but haven't played in a while. Want to get in competitive. What should I do? Playing the game a lot is a good start. Just play a bunch of ranked. Play with other people when you get the opportunities to. Preferably people who are at or maybe slightly above your skill level. Just play a bunch. Learn as much as you possibly can. Play to learn, not to win. Because if you're still down at B rank, then there are a lot of relatively basic things that you can learn from just playing the game and being thoughtful while you play it. Once you have gotten a little bit further and started to plateau a little bit more, you're not just like rising through the ranks quite as quickly. Then, you know, maybe try to look for other resources, maybe try and find other people to play with and stuff. But if you find a bunch of people who are, you know, as interested as you are in improving and have the same goals and they're at about the same skill level, that can make a great team right there. You know, there's nothing stopping you from entering a tournament as a B-ranked team. But there are a lot of noob gains, as the weightlifters will say. There are a lot of things that you can learn very quickly, a lot of improvement that you could make very rapidly. And making that improvement usually helps with forming a team, because you're not going to just suddenly be like, oh, wait, actually, this is the weapon I would rather play in 20 hours of gameplay. So a lot of the time you see people start to look for teams around like S plus-ish. But that's, again, nothing against going and finding a team if you've got people who share your goals, again, and are willing to improve as you are. That's the hard part, finding people who share your goals. Would giving Rapid Pro missiles be okay? I'd honestly appreciate it if they gave that thing a special that's functional. It's not going to farm it super fast, but it will get it. What do you mean school tomorrow? We're going to talk about English syntax tomorrow on stream, just for the heck of it. They add K52 back? Well, they won't, because 52 Gal already has Splash Wall. And they're not going to double up on giving another 52 another Splash Wall. They're not even going to give it to the 96, because the 96 also has a wall. So, descriptivism rather than prescriptivism. Correct. That is the general direction that I have been seeing people lean academically. Prescriptivism has this nasty tendency to actually turn out to come from some sort of xenophobia. It's actually surprising how many prescriptivist texts just kind of arise directly because of some sense of cultural superiority. So there are definitely, you know, more valid arguments for it, but a lot of the people who are making them have ulterior motives. So that's unfortunate. Still on a competitive team. I have a pickup team for LTC. I don't actually have a permanent team right now. I don't have a steady team. Inkjet would like a word? Yes, more Inkjet, please. More of that. Would like. Hypnotized by the cats? Good, good. Boost my engagement numbers, my cat friends. Has Jem been learning ballpoint? I have not. I don't think I will. Splatlings are pretty far outside of my wheelhouse, and the weapons that I play are still doing just fine. Tournaments sound scary. How do you not get scared? You don't. You go in and you get scared, but you also make friends. And then you're like, oh, wait, this isn't as scary. But then you get up on stage to play, and you're like, oh, wait, I'm scared again. And that happens to everybody. Everybody is nervous when they're in LANs. Like, you will never see the best play out of a player when they're playing out of LAN. You will always see their B game. And that's just something that you have to be aware is going to be true about everybody. And there are a couple of things that you can do to try and counteract it. The biggest one of which is just prepare like crazy beforehand, so you know your game plans and you know, have all of this practice and all of this muscle memory to fall back on. The other thing that you can try to do is most nervousness is going to come from some sense of what a negative result would do to you. Like, oh, I'm going to, you know, feed and go 0-16 and my teammates aren't going to want to play with me anymore. Or, oh no, our team is going to get demoted. We're going to lose to a team that we usually would beat. It's those kinds of fears that we have that shut our brains off. When you're afraid, different parts of your brain are active. Certain parts of them are shut down to conserve resources and to pump blood to your extremities and make it so that you are physically able to fight or flee. And those are actually not very good things to make your body do when you're in a situation where you need to use fine motor skills and careful critical thinking at fast speeds to be able to win. So the way to avoid that nervousness is to avoid focusing on those results, to avoid focusing on what you think the outcome is going to be, and instead focus on the process to think about, what do I need to do in the game right now? Like, what is the situation in front of me? Where are the enemy players? What is the numbers advantage? Like, to recenter yourself by focusing on the thing that actually helps you win the game instead of the thing that shuts your brain off. I have a question. How would one know if the team they join isn't for them? There are a lot of factors that need to line up. This is also dating advice. First of all, your goals need to be the same, and that's something that a lot of people screw up. That's something that a lot of people don't know about themselves, though, which makes it a little bit more complicated. Sometimes the only way you're going to figure out your goals is if you get onto a team and you think that these are, people who want to do the same things that you do, but then you realize, oh, wait, I'm way more interested in practicing than these people are, or I'm taking practices more seriously than these people are, or vice versa. You're like, man, I do not have the time to watch all of these VOD reviews that they are sending me to watch. If you notice any kind of imbalance like that, that is a really good sign that even if you play well together, that you're not going to be good long-term teammates. Another thing is maturity level, whether you all personally get along. There is room for some significant age gaps. Like, you can have people in your 20s playing with like older high school kids, and that's not necessarily that much of a problem. Obviously, those relationships have to be handled responsibly by everybody involved, but they're people who you can get to the point where you can know them well enough to trust them with that sort of thing. But like, if you've got like someone who's a grown adult with a job trying to play with someone who's 12, that probably just doesn't work out because they're at different maturity levels. Even if the 12-year-old is like mechanically on par, they're probably not going to get along very well. They're probably not going to communicate very well with each other, and they're probably going to frustrate the living hell out of each other. So that's something where you tend to not see it work super well. It's definitely a skill to be able to work with somebody in a functional way who's different from you in significant ways like that. The goals are a big thing. Another thing is whether the weapon comps work out with all of the teammates. Like, it doesn't matter like how much synergy you have as individuals, how supportive and positive you are, how well you communicate, how well you get each other, if all of you want to play E-Leader. You can't put 4 E-Leaders on a weapon comp unless the maps are just flat rectangles with no cover whatsoever. That's the only way where I can see that comp working. So you've got to make sure that like the weapons complement each other as well. And those are 2 pretty big hurdles to get over with a group of 4 people that you meet on the internet. Also, really, really helps to be on the same time zone, have the same availability and schedule. If you can't play at the same time as each other, then it's really hard to have a team with them. It's also going to be hard if you're on different continents, because then you're going to have to deal with latency with different members of the team. If you have like everyone's within North America, like me in the United States playing with someone in Canada, that's fine. But me playing with someone in Chile, that's a little bit tougher. Me playing with someone in like Australia is brutal. That's probably not going to work super well. Are you on a team right now? No. My issues with VC is that my attention is split between comms and the game. Yes, that is a very common... in fact, that's a universal problem that people have to put up with at first. People will deal with that in one of 2 ways. They will either just not say very much and become mechanical monsters and say the bare minimum that their team will let them get away with saying so that they can just focus on their mechanics. Or they will become more of a shot caller and lose out a little bit in mechanical skill because they're focusing more on making the right play than on executing the right play. But that is an actual compromise, and it is still worth it to learn the callouts, even though it will have that slight depreciation in your ability to focus on your mechanics and your decision making. But like, it helps the team out so much more that it's worth it. Interested in getting into comp because I've never competed before. Can you suggest a place to find a team? Peak this season was 2580, if that helps. There are a whole bunch of Discord servers where you can post your recruitment post. So that would be a set of information including like your tag, your Discord username, your ranks, your level of experience, what weapons you play, some general information about your age level or the age level you're looking for, that sort of thing. And there are a bunch of different places to put that. A bunch of Twitter accounts that will retweet you. There are Discord servers with channels specifically designed for that. Splatoon Free Agency, for example. But I actually found my first team just through networking. Just like there were a bunch of people who I was like, oh, hey, you guys are around the same skill level, seem to have similar goals, and we've played together before and we get along. Do you want to make a team? And that was how it worked out. There was only actually one person that I found randomly on Discord in when we formed up as like the Grillers competitive team. This is also MMO static rating group advice. Yeah, it's human relationship advice is what I'm giving there. Would not be comfortable playing with a 12-year-old. Yeah, I mean, 12-year-olds are not comfortable playing with 12-year-olds. That age just dropped frames for a second. So I'll repeat myself for a second. 12-year-olds do not feel comfortable playing with 12-year-olds. I would know. I have taught them in schools. 12-year-olds are at a very awkward place in their lives where, I'm going to be honest, I think, like, in terms of the low points for a human being, there's, like, age 2, your terrible 2s where you're just throwing tantrums all over the place. There's very, very old age where all the health problems are catching up to you and your head may not be quite all there anymore. And then those are the other two arguments for lowest point in your life, and I think that age like 12 or 13 is the other one. And so far in what I've experienced, I have not gotten old, but so far in what I've experienced, I liked the 12 to 13 time frame less. That is a time where people's brains develop enough that they're capable of questioning, authority. They realize that they don't just have to do things because mom said so. Mom is not that much bigger than me anymore. She's not that physically imposing. She's not that scary anymore. I realize that she has some flaws, and there are specific ways, most of the time, where it is actually healthier for me not to listen to her. As soon as someone has that realization as a human being, all of a sudden, all of their moral compass goes completely out the window. Because up until this point, it has been based on mom said so, teacher said so. And if you're not going to listen to that, well, now you just have to relearn it all from the ground up. You have to learn that you don't do this to other people by seeing the negative consequences of that firsthand. So I heard an advisor to teachers who had been doing that work for 40 years in the same school. She was just an absolute legend, very, very good at what she did. And the way she described it was that 13-year-olds are kindergartners in the bodies of an adult. They have all of this potential. They are cleverer. They are bigger and more physically capable, more motor skills. But now they've gone back to not knowing what to do with it anymore again, a second time. Since they've learned it, they once again do not have the understanding of what they should be doing with it. So 12-year-olds, they get really cliquey, they get really nasty. There's a lot of bullying that happens at those kinds of times because they're all very insecure and very confused. They don't know what's what in the world anymore because there's probably been at some point, kind of earth-shattering, paradigm-shifting thing that has happened that has wrecked their foundation on which they've built everything that they know so far. And it's a time that requires a lot of sympathy even when it feels like they do not deserve it from the way that they're acting. It's a time that requires you to be very firm and set boundaries and push back against them so they know where they stand relative to you. That's something that really does help you with those kinds of people. With 2-year-olds, you can manipulate them. With 2-year-olds, you can trick them, being happy when they were trying to throw a tantrum. There are little things you can do like that, but you can't reason with them as a person-to-person human, because they just can't understand the language well enough to reason with you yet. But with like an 8th grader who's going and say, drawing some kind of... I caught a kid once who was like drawing swastikas in the back of his textbook because he thought it was funny. I was able to sit that kid down and to explain to him that was an incredibly fucked up thing to be doing. And he understood me. And he never did it again. That's the sort of thing that you can get with people at that age. And that's why I look at like a 2-year-old and I go, this might be worse. They are people still at their heart. And if you understand where their insecurity is coming from, if you understand what is causing them to do this thing, then you can show them why that doesn't work and why that's causing them distress. And over a period of a few years, you can get a kid to really mellow out. And usually by about 10th grade, those kids are way easier to work with and way more mature. And they're basically like functional adults without as much experience by the time they hit about the second half of 10th grade. You used your one allotted curse word for stream. Correct. We've made it to PG-13, but we need not go further. If there is anything that deserves a curse word, it is that situation of what I'm going to be talking about today. So, anyway. Scrolling up just a little bit here. Okay, here we go. I found where I was at before. How do I adjust from using Splat Bomb on V Charger to Splash Wall on ZNF Charger? I kind of just play the weapon, figure out what you can do with it. Especially watch other people who are particularly strong with it. Like people from Splatoon 2 who are really accustomed to the Firefin splatter scope already. Those would be good people to watch to see how it's used. And just kind of copy what they're doing and figure out why it works. No, Ninga actually joined the team much later. I forget... Where did we find Ninga? Ninga might have just been someone who was... Oh, I remember. Ninga was someone that I actually played in a pickup with at a previous tournament. This was before the Grillers ever formed. I played Smash and Splash and played with him there, and it was from there that I, thought of him and brought him onto the team from there, basically. What you should look for in a date: compatible weapon pools. Yes, true. Compatible interests or something like that would probably be a good comparison. As someone who has been a 12-year-old, I hate 12-year-olds, including myself. Yeah, it's the cycle of cringe. Let's say you're like an 8-year-old, right? You become a 12-year-old and you look back at 8-year-old self and you're like, ew, I was cringe. And then you become a 16-year-old and you look back on 12-year-old self and you go, ew, I was cringe. And then you become a 20-year-old and you look back at 16-year-old self and you go, ew, I was cringe. And this goes on for the rest of your life as far as I've experienced it so far. Realizing my parents are also just other people is strange. I'm glad you're having that realization, though. That's a realization that a lot of people just don't have about people in general. Like, I think this is a big part of why, like, we have problems between men and women, is that we kind of teach, especially boys, not to really see women as, like, other people anymore. I remember growing up and having, like, also, like, when I was, like, 3 or 4, having a bunch of friends who were girls, because I was just looking at them like, okay, well, they've got longer hair, but they still like reading books and building things with blocks. So I think we're cool. I can work with this. You know, longer hair, whatever. We're good. But then people started being like, ooh, he's got a crush on her. And I was like 4. I did not know what that word meant. I had no idea. But it became, you know, so unbearable being teased about it that I just decided it was better to stop interacting with girls, because that just happened every time I did that. Well, fast forward to when I'm actually starting to be interested in girls, and now I haven't had a friend who is a girl since I was like 5. You know, not one who I've been really as close to as the boys. And so now I'm like, wait, what do girls like? What do they want? This has been a mistake. So don't let that happen to you. You know, see everybody as a person, even if they're problematic people, even if they're doing something straight up evil. Try and figure out at least where it's coming from. Try and understand on an empathetic level, even if you're going to combat them in their doing it. That's not to say that like girls are evil or something, but I just wanted the extreme case there. Girls are not evil. Well, some of them are, but not most of them, probably. PG-12 rated. Oh my god. Random but Gemini team VOD review advice. Don't just look at the overhead, also look at individual players, because you can get a lot of good advice to people that way. Look at their individual perspectives and see what they could see. It also helps you understand, like, what they're seeing, and, like, when they say something to you, now you know what it is they mean, because you're seeing it from their eyes. Why did you leave the Grillers? That's personal, as are most such things. It's like... you can literally think about that as like, why did you and your friend stop talking to each other? Or like, why did you break up with that girlfriend of yours or something like that? Like, that's the level that kind of question is on. They're personal relationships, you know? Would you agree that Splash Wall needs a buff? Not necessarily. There are definitely a lot of weapons that get a lot out of it, and I think it's cool that it exists. I do also have some videos with more advice on VOD reviewing. I'm just trying to catch up to chat here. Dating app profile, looking for the Splash-matic to my sloshing machine. Hey man, if you find someone that way, good for you. I wouldn't put it past that working, you know? That's actually a thing that's, you know, it'll definitely miss for most people. But if you find someone, now you've got a mutual interest. So, there you go. I'm tone deaf. Do I act parasocial around you? I don't know. I haven't noticed a ton. Like, and if you cross a boundary, I'll just let you know. Women, they're just like you. This feels like you're creating an advertising slogan, like you're trying to sell us on the idea of women. They're just like you, except with the miracle of birth. And centuries of being repressed for no good reason. Oof. Do not kill the part of you that is cringe, kill the part of you that cringes. That's not unknown, that's a Pokimane quote. That is a tweet that Pokimane wrote. Unless she was quoting something else, like that is attributable directly to her. Got better when we realized we were both gay. I mean, that'll help. It's kind of an important thing to figure out about yourself. What weapon do you think is the most solo queue weapon? And do you think some weapons that are heavily team dependent only be practiced in scrims? I mean, As far as strong weapons in solo queue, you're largely looking at the same weapons that are strong in comp, because a weapon that's strong is going to be useful in a variety of different situations. It's going to be something you can plug into any comp. That's like Splash, Machine, Ballpoint. Those are the ones that are meta right now, too. Can you use your English expertise to help me write a song? I want to compose a pop ballad for my backliner teammates called... Oh my god. To talk about how much you're paying me first, and then we'll talk. Get Respawn Punisher has some strategic applications, but man, it's not fun to go against. Yeah, I don't like the design of it. It's literally just punishing. Are you Romeo in disguise? No. Romeo is a separate being, I promise. Putting my mains on my Tinder profile? Please don't. That's not a measure of compatibility. That's not something that's going to help you there. As a woman, yes, I would like more people to see us normally. Yes, please do. A parasocial relationship is okay as long as you understand that that's happening and know where your boundaries are, knowing what you can expect back from them. As soon as you start expecting more from them than it is reasonable to, that's when it becomes an issue. All right. I've got a scrim coming up, so I do have to dip out. I'm going to go and raid us out to another gamer. And that gamer's name is... Let's go and say hi to Jazzicorn. Jazzicorn's popped into a couple streams I've been a part of recently. And they're very nice. And they play Squid Game pretty good. They're a competitive support main, I think like Div 4, Div 5, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that. But they will be gaming. So let's go and join them. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember, school stream tomorrow. It'll be sometime in the evening. I have a dentist appointment in the afternoon, and so I'll just be coming back, making sure I get set up, and then starting from there. And we're going to be talking about English syntax. So if that's a thing that is interesting to you, that you feel like you didn't learn in school and want to now would be the time. I've already had a bunch of questions about that sort of thing already. Or if you just need help with your English homework, you might be able to cheat a little bit of that out of me. I don't know. We'll have to see. You give me very specific sentences, I'm going to be like, okay, this sounds like a question that you're getting on your homework. But might be a good place to get some help. Anyway, time for us to head on over there and for me to get going on my scrim. Have a good one, everybody.